by Geico. Switch and save. Get more with Geico.
Hey, baseball fans, go yard with BetMGM, the sportsbook.
My allergies. Can't stop rubbing my eyes. Yeah. Let's go. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about some things, man. Mets lose. They rallied, never say die at the end. Fought back. Lindor leading off, starting it off as per usual, doing his thing. He ain't stopped. Brandon Waddell, excellent in his debut. Mark Vientos got more homers than Soto. All right, let's get it. Let me turn the TV down. Oh, I can't stop scratching my eyes. My eyes are just itchy. Okay, here we go. You guys ready? Again.
New York sports happens, talk about it here. The Fan, 1019 FM, and always live.
I think I'm going to the game Friday, bro.
It's AM to AM on WFAN.
Here, Yankees lose the game and series. Mets lose, but I mean, at least it looked like they were going to come back. Those make it happen Mets. They rallied. They had a rally in their bones, but they come up just short. And the 8-game home winning streak comes to an end. 888-808-1019. Let's talk about the New York Yankees. Let's talk about the New York Mets. And then as we get later into the night, it'll be May. We officially won't be able to say, oh, it's only April. We got Cinco de Mayo coming up, and then we've got Memorial Day. And Memorial Day is when you usually judge your baseball team. And maybe we'll talk about the Knicks again because they play tomorrow. Maybe we'll look at the rest of the NBA. Maybe we'll just look at the NFL, the Giants, the Jets, and have some other conversations. We'll start with the Yankees, though. Down there in Camden Yards against the Baltimore Orioles. They are partying like they won the World Series, and good for them. Just what the doctor ordered, exactly what they needed. They have been trash. They are the last place team in the American League East. They have been struggling, and excuse me. Allergies. I had 2 sneezes to get out. Bear with me. Speaking of the Orioles struggling, I've been struggling too. It don't matter if it's Zysol, Zyrtec, Flonase, Astropro. The weather outside is weather. Okay, anyway. The Orioles were struggling, man. They couldn't get right. Guys that aren't hitting, they don't have enough pitching. Obviously, you saw that 2 nights ago with the offensive output that the Yankees had. And it's just a little disappointing to lose a series to these guys in your division. When coming into the series, I said you should have swept your last 2 division opponents. Should have swept the Rays in Tampa. We know what happened with Devin Williams there. We'll talk about Devin Williams tonight. Should have swept the Blue Jays at the stadium. We know what happened to Devin Williams there. But for Toronto, or for Baltimore, you know, they've turned their ballpark into a water park. They've turned their ballpark into build a ballpark, right? They changed the dimensions. They raised the walls, and they're trying to get any edge that they can. And with all the hype of their young prospects coming up, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Jackson Holiday. You know, they didn't get out of the gate so fast this year, but baseball is a long season. And I think this was the turning point for them. They take the series from the Yankees. And if you look at the two games that they won, are you that impressed with the Baltimore Orioles or are you that disappointed in the Yankees? 888-808-1019 in my live chat, Nathaniel says the Yankees should be ashamed of themselves. Why? Because they lost with Will Warren on the mound. They lost with Carlos Carrasco on the mound. I will argue that they lost with two guys that wouldn't have been in the rotation if, things went the way we wanted them to. They wouldn't have been in the rotation if Garrett Cole was available, if Luis Seal was available, the Cy Young winner from 2 years ago and the rookie of the year from last year. So this is where we are, Yankee fans. You have a makeshift rotation. You have a good bullpen, but you still have a bullpen that has some figuring out to do, clearly. And Aaron Judge is all world. Aaron Judge is the best player in the game, might arguably be the best hitter I've ever seen. Aaron Judge continues on tonight. And what's disappointing is this game opens up with the Judge homer, and it's like, hey, picking up from where we left off yesterday. And you hope that they're able to pile it on. But after the first inning where you score 2, you put up zeros the next 3 innings, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th, and ultimately that's just not going to be enough. Now, I'm not even mad at Carlos Carrasco tonight. I wasn't mad at Will Warren. Will Warren, a rookie, and on the other end of the spectrum, Carlos Carrasco, a guy who was a spring training invite that we weren't even sure was going to make the team. He's an older guy that is at the end of his career, and he's really pitching now, right? He's not a power pitcher. He's 38 years old. He's trying to pitch, and that game got a little weird, obviously, when Keston Herstad, if you remember last year, Heston Kjerstad, I said his name backwards. I called him Keston Herstad. Heston Kjerstad. If you remember last year when the Yankees went down to Baltimore, Clay Holmes was on the mound. It was raining. Clay was a little wild. He hit the kid in the head. And this kid, I guess, has a history of head injuries. So, he's super sensitive about that. And there was a play where he was sliding into second base, and Pablo Reyes goes up, catches the ball in the air. Pablo Reyes is all of 5'7", and he gets up to catch the ball, and he comes down, and he teabags this guy. He literally just drops on top of his head, and it was an accident, but Heston gets mad. He starts barking. Bench is clear, and it's like back-to-back years with Heston Kjerstad. There's this fake beef with Baltimore. I think we ended up losing that series in Baltimore. I remember, was that the series that Verdugo fell? Once we got to that Sunday game, Verdugo fell in left field. The ball went over his head. Like, what I'm saying is, these guys, they get up for the Yankees. If you've ever been down there to Camden Yards, it's Yankee Stadium South. It's our home away from home. Yankee fans take over the building, and they don't like that. And now that they've had some success, now that they have some talent, now that they've got Mr. Splash, and like I said, they've turned their ballpark into a water park. Every time they score a run, they're spraying fans down. Like, they get pumped up for the Yankees. That was their World Series. That was their get-right series because they had lost pretty much every series to start the year. 888-808-1019. Speaking of Pablo Reyes, right, when you look at the lineup today, Pablo Reyes is starting at second base because Jazz has the oblique flank issue. And as much as we have killed Jazz and been critical of Jazz, and everybody talks about him striking out, be careful what you wish for, right? People, oh, you can't bat him and Volpe next to each other. Well, he's out. And you get to see how thin this infield is. You get to see how thin this team is in a game like this where you're relying on Pablo Reyes, you're relying on Oswald Peraza, and they sit Cody Bellinger. You get pinch hits from Bellinger and Cabrera. But it shows you that there are spots that the Yankees could upgrade, not just in the rotation, but also in the lineup. DJ LeMahieu is going to be welcomed back with open arms. Funny how these things work themselves out, right? DJ LeMahieu is going to come back, and he's going to get an opportunity to play right away. I think I saw him playing some second base in Somerset with the Patriots, but he'll he'll probably get a crack at third base. And we'll see what happens with Pablo Reyes. We'll see what happens with these guys. But, tonight is a night where it's like, if it's not Judge, right, then who is it? Judge goes out there with 3 hits, 3 ribbies. Goldie, nice to see Goldie after the little bit of a scuffle, after the fake brawl or whatever, the bench is clearing. Goldie hits a solo shot. He hasn't had that much power this year, but all in all, when you look at the lineup, and brace yourself if you haven't, when you look at the box score, after Goldie, Grisham, Judge, Rice goes 0 for 4, 2 Ks. Volpe had a knock, Wells had a knock, but then as you go down from Reyes to the 2 pinch hitters, Mbelli and Cabrera, Dominguez is struggling right now, Peraza, those guys went all over. And there were so many spots in the game where you needed them to come through, and they had nothing. And so that's how you lose a game 5-4 like that, where Carlos Carrasco, with those 4 runs, the Yankees putting up 15 the day before, they should have been able to overcome that in the rubber match against the last place Orioles. I needed a little bit more offensive output, but I guess they wasted it all yesterday. 888-808-1019. Now with the Mets, I spoke on their 8-game winning streak at home. Fans are going there because you feel like you're going to go see a win. Fans are going there because the streak is on the line, and there's so many guys contributing. And when you speak of so many guys contributing, you get a bullpen game tonight against Corbin Burns, one of the best in baseball, a Cy Young winner in his own right, a guy that got paid this offseason to join the Arizona Diamondbacks, a guy that came here with the Diamondbacks early in the season and beat the Yankees. Corbin Burns versus a bullpen game, advantage Corbin Burns. But, you got to tip your cap to Huascar Brazoban going out there as the opener, goes 2 innings, gives up nada, strikes out 3. And then this guy, Brandon Waddell, number 82 in your books. I mean, this kid comes out there in his debut, and I was listening to Howie Rose call the game, and he did something that had never been done before. He goes 4 1/3 scoreless in his Mets debut. He made history tonight. Only gave up 3 hits. So as I'm listening to the game and I'm watching the Yankee game and I'm watching Big Inning and I'm putting together notes, I'm like, man, the Mets are going to win this game because the streak is on the line. There's some magic going on in Queens. There's definitely some magic coming out of Hefner's laboratory. They can go bullpen game and get it done. And then we run into Ryan Stanek, who as of late hasn't been so sharp. And you kind of knew that the bullpen wouldn't be nails all year. Here we are in the last day of the month, going into May. And Ryan Stanek, you're the whipping boy. Because in your last few outings, it has not been great. He gave up 2 runs against Washington. He gave up a run against Washington on the 25th. On the 27th, he gave up 2. On the 25th, he gave up 2 tonight against Arizona. He has not been solid in his last few outings. He's been a problem. And ultimately, the Mark Vientos solo shot is not enough. And the Diamondbacks are able to take the lead in the 7th, and they go up 2-1. And then they tack on some insurance runs in the 9th to make it 4-1. But these are the make it happen Mets, and they got the right part of the order coming up in the 9th. And the fans are standing there. They're on their feet. 31,000, almost 32, 31,904 in Flushing at Citi Field with an 8-game win streak on the line, looking for 9, looking for a series win against the Diamondbacks team that's pretty good. Like, I know that they are in 4th place in their division, but they're in the best division in baseball. And like I said, with my own eyes, when they played the Yankees and they came here and beat the Yankees, they have Corbin Carroll, and you'll see Zach Gallen tomorrow. But the Mets had an opportunity to come back and walk this one off and keep the streak going, but they come up a little bit short. A very entertaining 9th inning for anybody that went to the ballpark tonight. Call me up, 888-808-1019. If you were in there, you get to the bottom of the 9th, and Juan Soto gets the opportunity to come up, and I'm here thinking Juan Soto is going to do it. It's going to be his moment after Tyrone Taylor homers to make it 4-2. I'm like, okay, Juan Soto with Lindor on, right? Juan Soto can hit the home run to tie the game, but Juan Soto works his walk. And then Pete Alonso, who's been so clutch, coming up after Soto. You're expecting Pete to do it, and maybe he would, but Pete gets hit by a pitch. Now you've got 2 on, no outs, and it's starting to feel like inevitable for the Mets to walk off the Diamondbacks. Vientos strikes out. Winker hits one that looks like it goes off his foot, but it skips right past his foot for an out. And then they intentionally walk Jeff McNeil, and Francisco Alvarez lines out or grounds out to third base and streak over. But what I thought about as I'm putting my notes together for Mets fans, the streak ends and it ends like that, and it's not an embarrassing loss. And the only embarrassing loss this entire year was in Washington. But, like, how do you feel as a Met fan knowing that your team never says die, that even in the 9th inning, they had a shot to win it against Corbin Burns, against the Diamondbacks? Like, this is a different Mets team. This is a different Mets franchise. They are not going quietly. They compete. And even though they lost, they have the opportunity to take the series tomorrow. So let's talk about it. 888-808-1019. I'm going to take a call here before we break it down. I think that's okay. Let's go to Bruce in Flushing. Bruce, you're on the fan.
Hey, Dave, a couple of points. I would give this rotation another turn or two, and then if it continues, we can't have 2 pitches going 5 innings or less every time out. You can have one guy in that rotation like that. You can't have 2. So I'm willing to give him a turn or 2, but if this trend continues, then the Yankees have to go out and get a pitcher. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I don't think that they will, though. I think that, I think we'll see Luis Gil return before they make a move.
They can't do that because he's not coming back to June. You have the home runs in May. You can't have this 2 pitchers.
Can I offer you Marcus Stroman perhaps in 2 weeks?
No, because he's still having knee pain, according to reports I read.
No, I know. I'm joking. I'm right there with you, Bruce. You can't have it because it's going to tax the bullpen. It's going to burn the bullpen out. And what happens when Max Fried isn't Max Fried? What happens when Clark Schmidt is shaky? Like, they're in first place now, but they've already left so many games on the table, in my opinion. This team should have 21 wins, maybe even 22 wins. There have been so many of these games where it's like,
And then you're going to ask me, how are you going to get a pitcher? Well, you're going to have to give up one of your friends. Give up one of the relief pitchers, maybe a Mark Lyon. I'll even be willing to give up the guy from Milwaukee, but if I can get a decent pitcher that I can rely on every day, that's what you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they'll have urgency like that. I think they'll look at the fact that they're, 5 games over 500. They're in first place. They'll keep, pitching Warren, hoping for the best, pitching Carrasco, hoping for the best, and then updating us on the return of Luis Gil. And Stroman, I know, has a knee issue, and they don't want him to pitch, but, like, he might be there. I think they need to potentially go to a bullpen game themselves. We're seeing the Mets throw a bullpen game. Like, maybe there's an opportunity to figure something out with the bullpen. We've seen what Ryan Yarbrough can do as a bulk guy. Like I said, Loizaga is coming back. That's going to give you more help in the back end.
And you also need a right-handed hitter. They have to get rid of Pablo Reyes. He was great in spring training. He has shown he's not that good a fielder. He has the hit all. You mean to tell me in all the major leagues or minor leagues you can't pick up a right-handed bat?
No, he was invited to spring training. Like you said, he performed well in spring training. He got the first crack at it,
And he failed. So now move on to the next one.
Our urgency is not their urgency. Thanks for the call, Bruce. I know we do this every single year. The math ain't mathing, right? Where I'm like, yo, we don't have time. Make a move now. You can't lose these games. You can't lose these series. You have holes in your rotation and your lineup. And they'll say, oh, it's baseball. You know, if this pitch went this way or if this call went this way, we'd be in a different spot. Let's go to Vincent in Freehold on the Fan. He's coming back from City Field.
Hey, Keith, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just came from City Field, and I'm absolutely livid, man. I mean, Juan Soto, what are you doing?
You're livid? You're mad?
I'm livid. I'm livid. Next time Soto is up in a big spot, you need to pinch hit for him. Put Luis Torrens in there or somebody.
You're joking, though.
I'm not joking. Juan Soto is atrocious. He has not been worth any bit of the money. Should have stayed in the Bronx.
You got to be a Yankee fan. You got to be trolling.
I'm a diehard Mets fan.
All right, Vincent, I hear you. I don't know that I'm not a Mets fan. From what I just said to you, Juan Soto worked the walk. I thought that was going to be Juan Soto's moment to hit his first Citi Field homer. Mark Vientos now has more homers than the generational Juan Soto with the highest contract in the history of professional sports, but you rather see Luis Torrens up at bat than Juan Soto. We've already reached that point. April 30th. I just can't take that call serious. I'm going to hope that was a Yankee fan trolling and not actually a Met fan saying that. But I get it. I do hear Met fans out here who are like, wow, all that for this, and basically all that hoopla from the winter meetings, the press conference, the money, all the things that this guy needed from a security detail, a suite, premium tickets, a wardrobe for his mom. And this is what we're getting out of Juan Soto. Are you nuts? Like, where is it? Where is it? And I'll just say it's coming. Get him in more positions like that. Get him in more opportunities like that with the game on the line. Get him in more spots where he can be the hero. You've got 15 years. 888-808-1019. Let's hear from another Mets fan. I don't know if Vincent, I mean, he might just be mad because the streak is over and the Mets lost. But I'm never, ever, ever. Imagine Carlos Mendoza pinch hit Juan Soto, put it in Luis Torrens. Brian is in Oakland, New Jersey on the Fan. What's up, Brian?
Hey, man, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I was at the Met game. That guy's crazy. Soto got one pitch to hit. He missed it. It is what it is. He worked his block. The only person I could be mad at tonight is Carlos Mendoza because he rolled out Chris Deventis in the ninth inning in a one-run game when we're down one. And that's the only person I can really be mad at tonight, Mendy. He's been great all year. We got a good record. We're in first place. Can't complain. But tonight's on Mendy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll just say this, taking up for Mendy. You've now played, 6 games in a row without a day off. And he's probably thinking about tomorrow as well and winning the series. And it's a bullpen game today. So you're probably going to have your best ready to go for tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, he could have went with, instead of Stanek there, he could have went with Reed Garrett or Kranick.
And then you don't have him in the rubber match. We don't know what tomorrow holds. I think just like that's what he's preparing for. He's coming from the Yankee brass. They have lanes. They have a script. They have things that they're going to do. Premeditated stuff. And yeah, in a bullpen game tonight where you get what you got out of Brandon Waddell, you get to the end. Brandon Waddell gives you 4 and a third scoreless. You go to Stanek, he hasn't had it in his last couple outings, and then you put a guy like Chris Davinsky in that spot. It's tough.
Yeah, but you're gonna expect Senga to go at least 6 tomorrow. So then you go Senga for 6, you get Kranick for 2, and then you get Diaz in the 9th. He could have put in Reed Garrett there, who still has not allowed a run all year.
Yeah, Reed Garrett probably be the first guy out tomorrow. Thanks for the call, Brian. 888-808-1019. But this is what happens when you lose. When you lose a game, you question everything. When you win the games, you're like, everything is good. Everything is straight. I'm actually going to look for some audio. Let's see if they asked Mendoza about the decision or anything that is coming up online about the decision to go there late in the game. 888-808-1019. We're talking about the Yankees. We're talking about the Mets. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Don't go anywhere. I'm coming right back. Oh, man. Allergies killing me, yo. Woo! I'll be right back. Got some fan mail, pun intended. Let's see what is in here. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Maybe I won't share. Let's see. Oh man, this is nice. I got to see if I can write back. I got some mail from someone that I was wondering where they had been as far as calls go. It's good to get wow. That's really nice. That's really nice. I had to go blow my nose. Let's see. Chat, what up? Chat, what up? Chat, what up? Chat, what up? Yankees should be ashamed of themselves. That's where we started. OG from Hoboken. Alvarez needs to ramp it down a little bit. He's over swinging again. Judge is like a player I've never seen in 55 years. They reviewed it. Well, they didn't review it, but I watched the replay. It wasn't clear that it came off of his foot. I don't think it came off his foot. They conferenced and said no. We won that series? What are you talking about, bro? You're talking about a series I was talking about before? The Yankees just lost that series. I don't know if you missed the first game. Cookie in the rotation is not the answer. He is for now. Warren, another problem? Yeah. We are relying on depth pieces. We are relying on guys that were supposed to make spot starts potentially during the season. Yeah, bro, these allergies got me itching my nose, my face, my eyes. But show goes on. Pam says, I like your braids, Keith. They look nice. Thanks. You know? Just a little style. Easier to maintain. Soto doesn't look comfortable. Yeah, I have a call that says Soto doesn't look comfortable. I think people are making a lot about Juan Soto. It is what it is, Joe. All right, what else in the chat before I go back? Yeah, April 30th, year 1 of 15. But it is what it is. Luckily, the off day pushes Warren to the last game of the Rays series. Otherwise, both him and Carrasco would line up for the Padres series, which would be comical. No, it wouldn't.
Good evening at 11 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. Well, chances galore with Francisco Alvarez trying to cash in. Bases loaded in the ninth to keep the Mets' dominance going at Citi Field. Falling to the Diamondbacks 4-3. Howie rose the call on C Mets radio. Mets 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They left 13 men on. Juan Soto continues to scuffle. Another 0 for 4 night. 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Mets suffering just their second home loss on the season. Yankees lost 2 out of 3 to last place. Orioles falling 5-4. Aaron Judge's 10th homer drove in 3. Paul Goldschmidt went deep, but Carlos Carrasco gave up 4 runs, 8 hits, in just 3 1/3. NBA playoffs, T-Wolves looking to close out the Lakers in 5, a 44-37 advantage midway through the second quarter. And the Rockets stumped the Warriors 131-116, but Houston still trails the series 3-2. 64 degrees, clear skies, Central Park. That's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
I'm looking on SNY. I don't see anything as far as I'm asking about like why Davinsky stayed in the game with Mendoza. He talks about Danny Young. Like if you can find that, let's play it because I think that's what people want to know. Inside the 11 p.m. hour on the Fan in New York, the Yankees lose, the Mets lose, and when we both lose, we're mad about it. Dial 888-808-1019 if you'd like to get your point across, your thoughts across. We may agree or disagree, but that's the whole point of this, right? We'll have the discourse. I see some fans on the line want to talk about Carlos Mendoza. Some want to talk about Juan Soto. Some want to talk about Will Warren, Carlos Carrasco, Aaron Judge. Some decisions that were made with the bullpen tonight. What the Yankees are going to do moving forward with their rotation, we don't know. Again, as fans, we are not patient. We have this level of urgency, and they don't have that urgency. It's May in an hour. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Let's go to Gary and Waterbury as we get back to the phones.
No relief. I step on stage.
The girls scream like a Keith.
Yeah. And Foo Philly and Foo Soto, I can't get enough of it. Well, I'm sick and tired of Judge being the whole offense every time in these low-scoring games. None of the offense can get it together. They should be way better. And Judge is doing everything he can, and no one else could get it together. And I'm not blaming the pitching.
I'll say this. You know, like Grisham had the knock to get on before him. Goldie had the homer. But like those guys are there. I have no problems with Trent Grisham. Trent Grisham right now is just batting under 300. Trent Grisham right now, the numbers that he's put up, it really makes you wonder what the hell they were doing with him on the bench last year and not getting him more playing time. Paul Goldschmidt hit a homer today. Paul Goldschmidt's been great. But no, I understand what you're saying because tonight when Judge starts us off with a 2-run bomb, you should win that game. Everybody should follow up. And then you have too many guys going over. Ben Rice is excused because he had a great game and he's still a young guy, but he goes over. And like I said, when you look at the bottom of the order, there was nothing there from Pablo Reyes to Dominguez to Peraza and even the pinch hits. No one else could get anything going.
And I'm not blaming the pitching either. And it's close because they've had a lot of close, 1-run, 2-run losses. When they had so many chances, anybody in the bottom of the lineup could step it up at any time, and they fail.
When you get to Cade Povich early in the game like that, and then they have to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different bullpen pitchers, and the back of their bullpen is pretty solid.
Exactly.
I knew it was wraps. I'm like, we're not going to do anything. After the Goldie homer was like an FU homer. Like, you guys don't really want to smoke. You don't want to fight. Boom, take that. But then after that, I'm like, these guys can't muster up anything else. And then at the end of the game, you're hoping that Judge gets up at the end of the game and it's Peraza, no shot. First pitch swinging, he pops up in foul territory. Goldie, nothing. And then Grisham overmatched at the plate. Game over. Judge doesn't even get to bat in the ninth.
It's all or nothing. It's definitely all or nothing as far. I think the pitching has been okay. So what we got thrown out there, it's been okay. The offense needs to step it up. And what's your thoughts on Dominguez long term? What's your thoughts on him going forward?
They take him out, they put him back in, they take him out, they put him back in, and I think they have to do that. They play the matchups, whether it's a righty or a lefty on the mound. He's a switch hitter, and I don't know. I think with Dominguez, I heard Dave Sims tonight say that he is top 10 in multiple different hitting categories amongst all rookies. Like, for a rookie, he's been solid, but he hasn't been this phenom prospect that we're looking for consistently yet. And I don't know how we get him there. But I'm not mad about Dominguez. He's just, I don't know. There's more to be desired with Dominguez.
You might have to go lefty forever. I think he should just go lefty forever.
I don't think they're going to do that. They want to have the switch hitter in the lineup, and he is a switch hitter. We've seen him do it on both sides.
I'm just disappointed in the offense.
It's not good enough. I mean, on a night where Carlos Carrasco was on the mound, on a night where you put up 15 runs and 19 hits the day before, you need a little bit more in the rubber match. And like I said, when you get to their starter, like Judge did, like when you get that bump, like you got to follow it up. You can't chill and think that that's enough. It's not gonna be when Carlos Carrasco is, he started struggling in the third inning. Giving up hit. No, in the second inning, he started struggling. So, yeah, not enough. A day late, dollar short. Thanks for the call, Gary. 888-808-1019. Mets fans are saying it's not enough from Juan Soto. If I go back to Juan Soto's at bat, like, I don't know, it was a typical Juan Soto at bat to me. If Juan Soto doesn't get a fat pitch down the middle to swing at, he's spitting on the ball. He's looking at the pitch. He's letting it go by. Let's hear what you guys think. But I understand. You want to return on the investment. In that moment, I literally thought, I'm like, here it is. All this talk about what Juan Soto's been and what he hasn't been. Game on the line. He's got an opportunity to drive in a run or hit the homer to tie it, and he's able to pass the baton. Let's go to Matt in Westchester on the Fan. Hello, Matt.
What's up, Keith? How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing really well. Just want to preface this by saying I am a Mets fan, but I do want to make one Yankee point really quick that I don't think I've heard that I've been thinking about. All these Yankee fans talking about Devin Williams brings me back to, like, as a Mets fan, the first year we got Edwin. And Edwin as a Mets had a disastrous first year, couldn't get anyone out, was walking the ballpark, was getting booed all over the place. And we moved him out of the closer role. But then he comes back the next year and he's lights out. And, like, I understand that Devin Williams is on a one-year deal for you guys, but, like, you got to just trust his career and recognize that these relievers are up and down and that these guys take time to adjust to New York. So all the hysteria, like I heard the caller earlier, be like, I send the guy from Milwaukee. Like, I don't get that. I think Devin Williams is just adjusting to New York and he'll be fine.
You don't got to tell me, bro. I've been begging these guys, like, we eat our own. You're making it harder for him. All of this heckling him, chanting, we want Weaver, all this talk about the beard policy and this guy sucks. Check his track record. We need him to be what he always has been. He will get there. It doesn't have to be right away. It's an adjustment, but go
on. And then my Mets point real quick. I hear all these Mets fans talking about, like, oh, we don't pay Soto to walk. That back tonight, and I was at the game last night. I wasn't there tonight, but, like, the last 2 days, he's been lining balls all over the place. Tonight he hit his first at bat. I think it was 115 off the bat to Carroll, and then in the ninth inning, their closers throwing disgusting splitters in the dirt that 99% of hitters are swinging at. And Soto walks. He passes the baton to Pete, who is killing it this year. Like, I don't get I get the anger and, like, the production hasn't been there, but that at bat he had tonight is like why you pay him. That at bat a lot of times wins the game. And I understand that it's, he didn't hit the game tying home run. I totally get it, but I think in the long scheme of the season, that process and those at-bats he gives are going to help us more than it's going to hurt us.
Absolutely.
I don't really get the anger.
No, absolutely. I agree. I'll take it from there. That at bat that he had, and I said he passed the baton. Like, I don't know. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but like Francisco Alvarez is swinging out of his shoes at some of those pitches. You know what I'm saying? Or lesser players or hitters are striking out. Juan Soto swung at one pitch in that at bat. So, I mean, I get it though. You could hear and you could see the ballpark. Everybody wanted that to be Juan Soto's moment. A walk isn't as good as a hit, but at least he didn't make it out. At least he didn't make it out. Rich is in White Plains on the fan. What's up, Rich? Richie. Rich. Richard. There he is.
I love you. Well done with your opportunity, bro. Keep it up. Listen, I'm a Yankee fan. My uncle was a creature. He used to take me to games as a kid. My job was to reach into the trunk on the Narrow Parkway and hand him and his friends beers. So I've been doing it for a long time. Earlier, you questioned that Mets fan. The MLB app is great because you can see every at-bat, how guys are pitched. If you look at Soto's first few at-bats tonight, if I was a Mets fan, I'd be wondering what's going on too, because they were meatballs, and he should have been asked those pitches.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I feel like Soto, and this has started to come up a lot too. Soto is helping Alonso and helping Lindor. Obviously, he's pressing. Obviously, he's a little bit tight. But yeah, I will go back in the app and look. Like, I'm looking at his last at bat, and I got to watch that one live. I listened to the game tonight. I'll go back and look at each one of his at bats and see what you know.
Look at this first two, because my boys in my group chat, we send these back and forth to each other all the time. I mean, we used to do it last year too when he was the Yankee. And I don't know, I'd be wondering what's up a little bit, because he's just he's not hitting those that he should. And obviously going to be pitched different late in the game. But I mean, he could have had Judge, could have been getting pitches to hit a lot more than he is right now. That's the way it is.
Judge or Mom can shop till she drops. Thanks for the call, Rich. 888-808-1019. That first at bat, he gets a 93-mile-an-hour cutter outside down. Second pitch he sees is a ball, not even close. Then he does get one right down the middle low, too. A cutter, 93.3 miles an hour, you know, right down the middle, little low. Fouls it off. Ball 4 outside. And then another cutter, a little bit higher than the third one that he saw, third pitch that he saw that he fouled off. He hit it into play, and he lined out. You know, it's baseball. He's not going to hit everything out. He's definitely pressing. I just think it's still early in the season. It's early until it's not. It's May. And I just think there's so much scrutiny on the guy. I think there's so many. Okay, second at bat. This looks like a stupid at bat. Juan Soto grounds into a force out. First pitch was a called strike, and it was down and inside. Second pitch was a changeup outside, and he swung at that and grounds out. So it's like you have a better at bat there, and there was a runner on and no outs. So it's like have a little bit more patience there. That was in the fifth. I don't know, man. You guys tell me. I won't tell you. I'm still going off of like I'm not watching him like I was watching him last year. I'm off of it. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm watching all of our guys at bats, and I'm going off of what I saw from him last year. I'm like, this guy is a master at work. This guy is a professional hitter. Yeah, even I don't know. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Mike in Oradell on the fan. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Keith, how you doing? Big fan. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're good. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. I'm just gonna say I'm a diehard Mets fan. I got a lot of friends that are Yankees fans, and they're very upset that Juan Soto came to the Mets. And I will say, from what I've seen thus far, I am not happy. I think that we can't be counting on Francisco Alvarez to come to the plate and bail us out of this game. I think that Juan Soto had his moment right there. Like, not his moment, but he had his chance to get us out of this and get us to the win on the game, and he didn't do it. And I just don't know what I'm waiting for. You know, we're paying him all this money to get wins and to deliver,
and he's not doing it. And I just want to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah, it's disappointing, I bet. Thanks for the call. We've been there as Yankee fans, either trading for a player. Like, look at Joey Gallo. When Joey Gallo got traded to the Yankees, we're expecting this guy to hit homers. A lot of us wanted him. I wanted him summer of 2021. I remember being like, yes, a left-handed hit. This guy can play left field, and he's a left-handed bat in that lineup, short porch. He's going to hit 20 homers in the second half. He's just striking out and striking out. Now, he was all-time bad. You can't really compare him to Soto. I'm trying to think of another acquisition, like someone you sign that just doesn't live up to it. Like on the converse, I was talking last night about Max Fried. He's been worth every dollar. I didn't want to give him 8 years. He's been worth the extra year, especially without Garrett Cole. But it's frustration because there hasn't been a bigger signing. There hasn't been more hype around a signing. And there's also, like you just said, I'm a Met fan. I got a lot of Yankee fan friends. There are Yankee fans that are saying, now look, we set him up. What a perfect setup. He comes to New York. He balls out as a Yankee. He goes to the World Series. They have a front row seat watching his heroics with us, right? They talk about how we wouldn't have got to the World Series if it wasn't for Juan Soto. And they outbid our bid by a little bit, at least when you look at the $760 million versus the $765 million. They land the player. And they land the player, and he is not the player that we expect him to be. In his first month of the season, it is not looking like the Juan Soto that we've seen. He's not batting around 300. He's batting under 250. The power numbers are not there. Like I said, I jokingly said Mark Vientos has more homers than Juan Soto, and Mark Vientos was slumping to start the season. And so it's not your money. You just think about how much money it took to get the guy, how you had to bend over backwards to get the guy, how much hype from, his first press conference and all the social media talk. And I mean, even here at WFAN, how much of it was Juan Soto. And it's like so many Met fans were rubbing it in the Yankee fan face. And so far, Juan Soto has been very underwhelming for all of that came with signing Juan Soto. 888-808-1019. You got to love baseball. I love it. I think it's like you can't script this stuff. And the baseball gods, they work in mysterious ways. Juan Soto is still Juan Soto. It's still in there. But what's it going to take for him to break out and consistently be what he was? Like, I talked about this guy being a cyborg, a machine, a robot, that like nothing fazed him. Now everything phases him. Like now these situations this is too big for him. Now the money has changed him. Now the fact that he's a Met for the rest of his life. Is this what it took to change Juan Soto's approach? Is this what it took to make Juan Soto flinch? Interesting. I just think it's early. And it's early until it's not. 888-808-1019. More of your calls, more conversation around the Mets and the Yankees, what we saw tonight and what we've seen in this first month and change of the season. This is Keith McPherson on The Fan. I'll be right back. Interesting, right? We got Soto. You can have him. Have fun. Good luck with all that. Let's see. Oh, Michael Caputo is going in, huh? Chatting. Typing. Chris with the money making it rain. Low-key, Volpe had a good series. Yeah, defensively, and he had some hits. And let's see how much he raised his average. He's batting 237 now. He was at like 198 before. Let me see. Let me see if there's anything else worth highlighting in the chat. It seems like you guys were arguing with Michael Caputo a little bit. Oh, Mike was going in. Mike sent the most messages, I think, all time. Mike, you set the record. Let's see. Yankees suck. Wait till they play the Padres and the Dodgers. They're a joke. Wait till their schedule gets harder. The Mets have had the easiest schedule in baseball. What are you talking about? Sorry, but they should have re-signed Soto. This is not a better team. Soto is not playing well. They like technically they are better without Soto. They wouldn't have been able to spend the money to get Bellinger, to get Max Fried, to bring in Devin Williams. What are we talking about, bro? Stanton won't do this. Is all nonsense. I'm not even going to entertain this. Leave us. You just pissed. The Mets signed Soto, yeah, and he's been underwhelming, not getting the return on investment. Yup. It's funny you say that. As I was just saying this on air, people, Yankees wouldn't have got to the World Series without Soto. Okay. They let a 26-year-old legend slip away. No, they didn't. They offered him $760 million. They didn't let him slip away. How do you lose to a last place team? They win 2 out of 3. It happens all the time. Yeah, I'm done entertaining this. Let's see. I just put him in timeout. He's gone. This is too much in the chat, bro. It's just too much in the chat, bro. Like I'm trying to talk to you guys. Michael is hijacking the chat with nonsense. I just had to I easily could click on it and just put the user in timeout, like ban. And I went to put him in timeout and I accidentally clicked ban the user. I'll go on the back end tomorrow and take him out. But like, bro, you gotta chill, bro. Go type all that on your own Twitter account. You're tweaking. Yeah. Anyway, I'm like still just like Hector throwing some money out here too. Appreciate it. It's all going into the Google AdSense account or whatnot. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, let's use that. I thought somebody might have asked him about the bullpen decisions with Stanek struggling, taking out okay, because Waddell was rolling and he went to Stanek, who's been struggling. So I know some fans are mad about that. And then obviously people are talking about Soto here a lot. I didn't see I saw his last at bat, but I didn't see his first couple at bats. And like when you look at MLB, it's like he did have pitches to hit, whatever. It's a conversation. So let's come back. We'll throw to them both. First, I think Stanek and then Soto, and then that'll lead us into the calls. So I was just talking to Connor, my producer, to get audio from the press conference with Carlos Mendoza and see if there was any information regarding his decisions with the bullpen. I gotta start some of you guys that are in here every night, I can make you guys moderators. And you can have the power, I think, to be like, yo, chill. Like we've been doing this every night now for over a month. Like this is April going into May. I think I started doing this in February, right? I don't think I've ever had somebody send that many messages, all like negative, like just trying to like, I don't know, hijack the conversation. And that was all BS. So, Brody, these are just fair weather fans. This is baseball. The game is about averages, ebbs and flows. You can't exactly like, I don't know. Juan Soto has much larger of a sample size being Juan Soto than not. Bourbon Legend. Keith, we love being able to connect. Thank you for that. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to let somebody come in here and just like stop you guys from conversating. Like a lot of times I notice like I'm talking on the phone with people. I'm hosting the show and then I'll come back to the chat and you guys are kind of talking amongst yourselves. Somebody comes in doing that, it messes up the flow. Nah. I know you said you'd let your kid pick any football team, but what about baseball? No, he's locked in. He's already a Yankee boy. Yankee baby. It just is what it is. He's been to spring training twice. He's been to like 5 games. His mother is also a Yankees fan, so she's not going for it either. Like he's a Yankee fan. There's what other team would he pick? The Dodgers? We don't live over there. We live 40 minutes from the stadium. Yankees, man, a lot more baseball to be played, but I wish they would clean up these losses. Yeah, 1-run loss like this, it's a game you feel like you could have had. Devin Williams accepts that he has been underwhelming. True professional, he will earn his role. But yeah, he is a pro, and he was fine today. He did what he had to do today. Chris said, "Make me a moderator." I will, bro. Just message me. I'll put a little note together. Hector says, "Mod me." Cam, I'm in for moderation. I could easily do that. So, we'll get there. Okay. And we're back. Thanks for holding. Thanks for waiting. You could have went to bed. Could have changed the station. You could have exited the app. You could go watch TV. You could watch Netflix. But instead, you're like, yo, I want to hear these calls. I want to hear Keith talk to these Mets fans, Yankees fans. And what I want to do right now, I want to hear from Carlos Mendoza, the Mets manager. I just had Connor look through the post-game stuff. I'm like, maybe he said something about his decisions with the bullpen because I've already taken calls. And when we go back to how this thing went, player of the game, stay tuned for the big shot of the night. It won't be a Met or a Yankee, right? Because they lost, right? We should give it to somebody who won. But, if I had to award a player of the game, this kid, Brandon Waddell, coming out there tonight, he literally made history. He's in his Mets debut going 4 1/3. Well, he gets pulled in favor of a Ryan Stanek who has been struggling. And I don't know how you feel, but is that a spot to put a guy in to get right? Is that a spot to put a guy in? I guess you want to put him in a high leverage spot. You want to put him in a spot where he's used to going, but it wasn't even high leverage. It's a 1-run game. I don't know. Either way, Stanek gives it up, and they pull Waddell at 60 pitches, but maybe he could have finished the inning out. Stanek throws 14 pitches, and then you have Davinsky throw 38. And I don't know, maybe you wanted to see Reed Garrett, or maybe you wanted to see somebody else other than him. But I think Mendoza was planning on winning the series tomorrow and having guys ready for the game tomorrow. But I mean, last night all you had was Jose Buto and my homie from Kane University in Jersey, Kevin Hergert. So 888-808-1019. Let's play Carlos Mendoza talking about Ryan Stanek. He's been struggling. Let's hear what the Mets manager has to say about him tonight.
Like I said, he's got to continue to fight through it.
Yeah, so Mendoza just so many times reminds me of Boone, and obviously he was a Yankee bench coach, but they're not going to throw guys under the bus ever, and they're always going to be very particular about bad luck. It's not him, it's bad luck, and he'll tell you what happened during the play, and hey, if the ball bounces a different way, it is what it is. Now, Juan Soto isn't running into bad luck. He just hasn't been the Juan Soto that we're used to him being. And so it's leading us to question everything. Is he uncomfortable? Does he not like his team? Does he have regrets? I don't think it's any of that, man. I think he's a 26-year-old guy that was always chasing the bag, always trying to become a free agent and get the most money he could possibly make. And so you know what it's like, man. I use the analogy about pursuing a girl. That girl is fine as hell until you actually bag her. And then actually you get her and then you start looking at her differently. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all aren't used to the chase and pulling girls. But there are definitely some girls that I'm like, man, she was a lot finer on Instagram. I looked at her a lot differently before I got to hang out with her, be next to her. Now Juan Soto is a Met. Is he feeling like, man, this was This was different playing in Major League Baseball when I knew I was going to get to free agency and get some money. Now that I got it, like, this is different. I don't feel the same. So let's hear Carlos Mendoza talk about the generational Juan Soto.
113 off the bat, first at bat, then he goes the other way. But not really. I haven't seen any indications of him getting frustrated or very good at batting and ninth. So I feel like he's in a good place.
He said he feels like he's in a good place. And again, he'll describe to you some little things that just didn't go his way. I do think there's going to be a time where, and we're here now, so the weather isn't the excuse either, right? We're making excuses for Juan Soto. It's cold, it's rainy. It was 80 degrees again today, and we've got a stretch of days where it's gonna again be 70, 75, 80. Like, it's not cold. It's not cold out there playing baseball, but he has been a little cold. Ben is in Brooklyn on the Fan next. You got it, Ben.
Hey, what's up, Keith? I love that analogy of quote unquote chasing women to chasing a contract by Juan Soto. That's spot on. So I am also wondering what's up with Soto and wondering why he's not performing. We're questioning everything, right? And so do you think that Soto isn't performing because maybe the incentive is gone? Think about
maybe initially, yeah. He's never had a start of a season like, actually, I can't say never, because I was looking at, I think, his numbers with the Padres when he first got there, and it was a little bit slow too because it was an adjustment. But it leads you to believe that, like, this early start is just like an adjustment to, wow, like, there is no free agency after this. Wow, I've done it. I've got the largest contract in baseball, and that's going to stay for years. I don't know when that contract is getting topped.
Right. My grandkids are set. I am getting paid more money than any other athlete. Like, I had the best year of my life with the New York Yankees. Everyone saw. We got to the World Series, and now it's like, all right, I'm chilling.
And not for nothing, bro. Like, the Yankees aren't missing Juan Soto. I just had somebody in my live chat talking about they let a 26-year-old phenom slip away. No, they didn't. They offered him $760 million. He left. His production, we thought, was being replaced by Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt. Nah, it's Goldschmidt, it's Ben Rice, it's Trent Grisham. Like, and then Judge is better without him.
Who can tell? You can never tell who's going to be hot. Is the money worth it? Sometimes, a scrub who you're paying $100,000, whatever, is lights out. It's just a gamble. But I think that when you sign the biggest contract, your motivation starts to slip a little bit. It's like, you're absolutely right. You're like,
it's got to change. Yeah. I can just relate to girls that I thought were fine as hell on pictures, on Facebook, on Instagram. And then once once she did give me the number, once I got around, it wore off fast, bro. It was like, nah.
I got there. I'm good.
So with Soto, and thanks for the call, Ben. With Soto, I just think he's got to find new motivation. If the motivation was always, I'm going to be a free agent, I'm going to get the most money, I'm pushing towards my free agency because Scott Boras helped program him that way. You saw it as a Yankee fan. I've referenced it so many times. There were so many little things, like in Seattle where he homered in all 30 ballparks, and he's like, this is great going into free agency. I've homered in every major league ballpark. This is going to look great going into free agency. Nobody asked about that. It wasn't something that did anything as far as the Mets' pursuit of you, the Yankees' pursuit of you. Like, it wasn't a chip to be like, hey, guys, did you realize I'm the only person out here that is homered in all 30 ballparks that it's available for you to sign? No, Juan Soto's got to get a different motivation. And that's why I say get him to the postseason. I do believe he wants to be a champion again, but we can't even say that. He's got a ring. We can't even say his motivation is to win a World Series. He was in the World Series last year. Get him there. And this Mets team looks like they're going to October. What's Positive Tommy say? Don't make any vacation plans for October. I wouldn't. If you're a baseball fan, you shouldn't be getting on a plane in October anyway, unless you're going to see your team play a visiting opponent, or you're going to be a visitor in a visiting in a whatever ballpark. But yeah, what I'm saying with Juan Soto is maybe he's got to He's got to adjust to having different motivation. I'm sure he's motivated to be great, but money is a number one motivator for a lot of us. You need money to live. And like his Supreme Court of Soto, his family, they're all set now. Like Ben just said, my family's set for like my grandkids' grandkid. They're all set now. But like when you're pushing towards, I got to make sure mama's good. I got to make sure daddy's good. I got to make sure everybody. And it's not like he was broke. Like he made 31 million with the Yankees last year. They were good. But I think if I don't know what the motivation is. Do you think there's any guilt too? He doesn't strike me as a guy to be guilty, to feel like I make so much more money than Tyrone Taylor. like Mark Vientos has more home runs than me. Like his contract, like I've already made his contract. Ryan is in Brooklyn next on the Fan. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, Keith, how you doing tonight?
Good, just talking.
Yeah, obviously, both of our teams lost today, but funny that you mentioned that you should never get on a plane in October because it was Mets Phillies NLDS, and I read the Francisco Lindor Grand Slam while I was on an airplane, the play-by-play Francisco Lindor Grand Slam.
You can never get that moment back.
Right, and I was jumping up and down, and people were looking at me like, "Are you okay, bro?" And I was saying like, I felt so like I couldn't get that back. I felt so sad about it.
That's forever, man. And what if you don't ever get a grant? You'll get another opportunity in some other moments in the future. But I know where I was when I saw it. I was watching it at my crib, like, oh.
Yeah, good for you, Keith. You were talking about Juan Soto for about an hour, so I want to talk about someone else. I want to talk about Tyrone Taylor. I mean, just like in the past 3 days, he's just been so clutch. So many good plays, like defensively. We saw that catch yesterday. We saw that catch today. Also, and just like people are not talking about him because the Mets lost today, and yesterday they had an 8-3 win and Alonso had a home run, but like no one's saying his name at all.
Yeah, I mentioned him last night. Thanks for the call, Ryan. I always say you gotta call Tyrone, but you can't use my phone. That's a Wash reference. That's a Wash reference. Somebody listening feels me. Somebody knows. Dial 888-808-1019 if you can tell me more about that. When Jose Siria initially went down, Tyrone Taylor was not playing so good. Remember the ball that skipped off his glove, and it's like, come on, bro. And he wasn't hitting well. But I think he's adjusted now to being in center field every day, and he's making plays. Like that ball that he ran down, that's a web gem. That's a top catch of the year in baseball. It's going to stand for a long time this year. The one that he ran down in the gap in left center. And then he hit his first homer of the year tonight, and it's like, that's more clutch than Juan Soto has been. It's there. It's there. So with speed, with athleticism, and him just getting the opportunity to play every day and relishing in like, okay, Siri went down. And then even the thought about like Jeff McNeil was playing center field in the minors. They had Luis Angel Acuna fielding, taking some fly balls in center field, perhaps maybe to, take him out of that spot if he struggles. No, he's your best option in center field, obviously for the defense. But when he brings his bat and he's clutch, he really shines. It really is like, yo, that's why I use him as an example. Like, is there any guilt with Juan Soto? Like, yo, this guy to my right is so much better than me. And like, my lack of defense is screwing him up. Juan Soto needs to be in right field like you every time the ball is even close. Like, is there any guilt with Juan Soto? Like, what I make compared to what Tyrone Taylor is going to make in his entire career? It's not right. All right, Keith McPherson on the Fan. When we come back, we'll do the big shot of the night. Don't go anywhere. This is KM to AM. Wants to be positive about Soto, disappointing. All right, so let me see who had the best night in baseball, man. Okay. Got an article on the little brawl that went down. Danny Young, AJ Minter. Yeah, Mets lose, Yankees lose. Chase Petty went off. Let me think. Bro, you're qualified just because I know you in real life. I could do it. I'll probably do it sometime tomorrow. Bro, that hot girl it's like that girl from IG. She's a 10 on IG. You bag her, you get around her. She goes to a 7, to a 6, and you don't even want her no more. Chase Petty is from Jersey. Okay. Let me look up what Chase Petty did tonight. Chase Petty loses his MLB debut as Reds fall to Cardinals in second game. They lost, though. They lost, though. If you go to MLB.com and you click on the at bats, it tells you. Are you saying break zones? I'm thinking you're talking about like balls and strikes with these at bats. Are you talking about break zones as far as in the show when to break? I have a producer that tells me when to break, and I know when to break. We got to always break going into the hour, and a lot of times they'll tell me in my headset like, "Hey, you've got 15 minutes here," or "Hey, you got until this." Until 11:43 or whatever. So, yeah, I got a producer telling me. Kyle Stowers. 4 for 4, 2 homers, 4 RBI. Yeah, he balled, huh? What about in the NBA? Nobody really in the NBA either. This Lakers game is on now. All right. MLB.com. Young star on a heater breaks into top 3. Favorite teams. O's ready to turn over calendar. Fan hospitalized. Just a misunderstanding. No for Noah. But Royals prospect Cameron Dazzles. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll go Kyle Stowers. Is there anybody else in the news? Let's go to WFAN. Let's go to SNY. Like, can I? Sometimes I'll make like a joke. Like I'll give it to Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, as the big shot of the night, and then it'll give me a reason to talk about her. But I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I guess we'll go Kyle Stowers. Kyle Stowers had a double. He had a homer in the 4th inning, a homer in the 9th inning. All right, yeah, we'll go Kyle Stowers. Even though I think they lost too, right? They lost. I try to give it to a winner, man. Who won today? Lost your mic? You can't hear me? Or are you talking about this mic? You guys can hear me though? No? You can hear me. The big shot of the night is brought to you by WFAN and me, Keith McPherson. Bright lights, big city, bunch of big shots. Well, tonight's big shot of the night is the first one we're going to do this year that goes to a loser. Because I was looking for other winners and guys that performed well across baseball today. Chase Petty, Kyle Stowers. Shout out to the live chat as we were going through it. And I'm like, they all lost. They all lost. Let's keep it New York. And let's go back to a guy that I was like, yo, this guy made history tonight. Brandon Waddell, in his debut, goes 4 1/3 scoreless innings. Probably should have been left out there if you're asking some Mets fans. He only gives up 3 hits, strikes out 4. And yeah, he's the first Met to ever do that in his debut. So 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the fan. Let's get back to the calls. But before we do that, a couple updates, a couple little things, right? So, Ryan Stanek is struggling. Mets fans are questioning the bullpen decisions. And now the hits keep on coming. You got AJ Minter out for the season. And now Danny Young is potentially going to need Tommy John surgery. So building a bullpen is what David Stearns does. It's one of his strong suits. He's going to have to continue to add and figure out, either call some guys up, trade, sign some guys. But like just in this week, Brooks Raley will come back. They signed him. But just in this week, right, AJ Minter goes down, and now Danny Young goes down, and now you're seeing a few different new faces coming out of the bullpen. The season is on. It is about to be May. 888-808-1019. Let's go to Pat in the Bronx. What's up, Pat? You got it.
What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? If anyone was criticizing Alvarez going for a pitch that Alonso would have swung at last year, bear in mind that he won the game for us on Saturday. We had no offense other than his 2-run homer. Jeff McNeil, I noticed when he got a second base hit in the second game back, he was at the first base trying to do the gesture that they were all doing, and he was a little uncomfortable. He's now integrated back into the lineup. He's a good player, and if we're going to trade for a lefty, which I think might be necessary, trade for a lefty reliever, is it possible that Luis Torrens would be a good candidate to trade for a lefty reliever and just have a simple defensive backup catcher?
I don't know if they're going to get rid of him. They got him for nothing, and he's been so solid. I don't know if he's who you trade. You're probably going to trade some prospects.
But he will sell high, don't you think? He'll sell high because of what he did when Alvarez was out. Alvarez, I attribute a lot of what happened to nerves. I was watching the end of the game. I was watching most of the game, but I was in text with my brothers, about different things that Mendoza was doing. Soto, I think you're completely right about. I think you're completely right. We did the same thing to Lindor. We booed him. He tried to get Sprendo over on the team, and that's when the thumbs down started. I didn't tell fans to boo or not to boo. But please, That's a bit of time. The man's going to be with us for 15 years. Even if he's performing like the best player in baseball, we're going to have to pay him more when he comes to his opt-out. He's with us. Lindor's with us. Alonso's the one I'm worried about. He may not be with us next year.
Good point. Thanks for the call, Pat. I'll say this. It was an adjustment for Lindor coming over with big money. It took Lindor a couple years, I think, Obviously, last year was his big year of I say he matured. I say he grew into the city. He really accepted the role of being the leader and, the shortstop and the captain and understanding the fans want to win and you're playing for the fans and it's going to be tough sometimes, but you got to fight through, With Juan Soto, he was booed lightly, but he also got the standing ovation. I don't know if you were there tonight. Were there moans and groans with him lining out? Does it sound like it didn't sound like that in the ninth? It sounded like in the ninth, fans were excited for him to come up and get the opportunity to be up, and he didn't make it out. He passed the baton, he worked a walk, and people cheered. So you do have to look at it from the long view that this is the first month of 15 years. It's a long time. And he's going to have to adjust. You know what it is. When the girl is an IG baddie and you bag her and she's a 9 on IG, and then she comes over for the first time and she's like a 7.5. And then when you hang out with her again, you see her less makeup on. It's just it's an adjustment. Were the Mets a 10 to Juan Soto? And then he got to spring training. They were 8.5. And now that he's a Met, he's like, this is a 6. Let's go to Brendan in Yonkers on the fan. What's up, Brendan?
What's going on, Steve? Thanks for taking the call. Just saying something that you just mentioned about Lindor taking a couple of years and Soto. If they get 100 games into the season, God forbid it takes that long, he wakes up. It's a dangerous team. I mean, I'm not worried because he will wake up eventually.
They're already dangerous without him. It's a luxury to have him right now. It's actually funny when you think about looking for something to complain about. You're complaining about one of the best players in the league, not turning it on yet. He's going to turn it on at some point.
That's what I'm saying. It's a matter of time.
Now, if you were losing and you didn't have the best record in baseball, and he was struggling and the team was struggling, it'd be a lot louder. But I think we're just kind of looking for a reason to be like, hey, we're not getting the return on investment. Hey, there was a lot of hoopla about you, and we're enjoying this run, but we would enjoy it a little bit more if you were leading the charge. He doesn't have to lead the charge. He's been on a few teams. Say that again.
That was when he signed when they were struggling and he was struggling. And it was dark days.
Yeah.
And now the best record in baseball, you can swallow it a little bit.
Pause. Thanks for the call, Brendan. What I think is that Soto has always been on teams with other good players, right? When he won the World Series, he was with Rendon and Trey Turner. And that team had a bunch of star players on it. And then even with the Padres, he's with Tatis and Machado. And he comes to New York, he's playing with the best player in the game. He's always had good players around him. But I think in his process of choosing a place, he had to know Lindor was the runner-up to the MVP and Pete Alonso was an all-star. Maybe he wasn't choosing that much. I think he was taking I think he was choosing the Mets and taking the money from the Mets with the idea that oh, this is my team. There's no one that's going to overshadow me. And he's been overshadowed a lot. That has something to do with it. And also, money isn't everything. I told y'all that a bunch of times. Money can't buy you love. He has played for 4 different franchises. I would assume everything is great, right? The family vibe. I thought it was all about the family culture. Your family's straight now. Why aren't we seeing the fruits of that? Why aren't you the best you've ever been? You got the most money you've ever had. You're in the most family-friendly environment. You've got a security detail. Your family has a damn suite. Your mom has a clothing allowance. You have free tickets to every game that you could give to, I don't know, Archangel or Bad Bunny. I don't think he kicks it with Bad Buddy, but you know what I'm saying. He's got these reggaeton artists and stuff that he hangs out with. 888-808-1019. It's already 12. All right. So we'll break it down here. We'll continue with the conversation around the Mets. I do want to talk about a few things with the Yankees. We'll speak on Devin Williams a little bit more. We'll speak on Jazz Chisholm and how this team, like, you just take one guy out and you realize this team isn't as deep as they can look when they put up 15 runs. And yeah, once we get on the other side, I do want to bring in some other conversation. Obviously, go back to the NFL draft, the Jets draft, the Giants draft. Shador Sanders' name is back in the headlines. Former Jets head coach Jeff Ulbrich spoke today. So yeah, plenty more to do. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Don't go anywhere. I'll say good morning on the other side. BRB. All right, I'm gonna run out to just get a tissue. Bless me, thank me, bless me, thank me. Appreciate y'all. Give me a second to just get a fresh tissue. me see if I can send this to Fleegs.
Good morning at 12 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. Well, the Mets just couldn't get the big hit. 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They left 13 men on, including the bases loaded to end it. The Diamondbacks got 4-3. Juan Soto still scuffling. 0 for 4, including 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. So Carlos Mendoza asked if he thinks Soto is pressing. Another tough outing for Ryan Stanek. Gave up 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning as the Mets saw their 8-game home win streak come to an end. Carlos Carrasco gave up 4 runs, 8 hits over 3 1/3. Orioles able to withstand the Yankees 5-4. Fowler's a losing record when someone other than Max Fried gets a start, but Aaron Boone, not all that concerned. Aaron Judge, 3 more hits, a homer, drove in 3, so he finishes April hitting .427 with 10 homers and 32 RBIs. NBA playoffs, T-Wolves now clinging to a 73-70 advantage on the Lakers. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Minnesota looking for the closeout in 5. And the Rockets pound the Warriors 131-116. They force a game 6. 61 degrees, clear skies, Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm here. Hopefully you're still there. Maybe you're getting tired. Maybe you're falling asleep. Maybe you're just checking in and going to work and getting set up. Maybe you just got in the car. You got somewhere to drive real quick. Either way, 2 more hours to go. KM to AM. Keith McPherson on the Fan. In these next 2 hours, we're going to talk about the Yankees and Mets, of course, but we will get back to the NFL. Former Jets head coach Jeff Ulbrich apologized. We got to hear that and talk more about that. Shedeur Sanders, the machine is still working. There's some new updates around Shedeur Sanders. And we got to talk about the Jets and Giants draft. I just think that they added some talented players. I haven't talked about Malachi Moore yet. I think that this crop of talent, and we don't know. We're just guessing. But like, the Jets and the Giants hit on multiple draft picks this year, and I think there are guys that we're going to see that they drafted that are going to play. They're not going to be bench guys. They're not going to be just special teams guys. They will be part of the team's success or failure, and I think both teams are going to have better years than last year's. I'm excited for football already. 888-808-1019. Let's take a call before I get into my Yankee stuff. Let's get this call from a Met fan on the Mets and the Mets thoughts before I lay out with where I'm at with the New York Yankees. Josh and Passaic on the Fan. Hello, Josh. Another night. It's May now. It's the first of the month. Or, we can't say it's only April anymore.
Nothing always has the line, April showers May flowers. So my own line with the Knicks was like winning 5, out in 5. I mean, they're defined as no far. I think the Pistons would be too hard for them, but they're playing gritty. But my real best point is that the Warriors-Rockets series is one of the only entertaining things I've seen from the NBA the last few years. That guy that headbutted the Rockets players, he's got that mustache. That series literally looks like WWE.
I'm not paying attention to it at all. Somebody headbutt somebody in that series tonight?
Yeah, they've been all feisty, they've been all shovey, and then he just went straight at this guy and just pushed his head at him when they had some other scuffle.
Who, Dylan Brooks? Let me see. I'm pulling this up right now.
Dylan Brooks was part of the play, but he had been shoved away. Otherwise, it probably would have been him and there.
Okay, I'm like, honestly, the first round of the playoffs, I'm usually light on unless it's a local team, and I'm watching baseball to be ready for these shows now. In the past, before I was on the radio, I used to watch all the playoffs, but I'm not watching the fourth game of the Warriors-Rockets series tonight because chances are I'm over under. I get 2 calls, over under 2 calls about it. But yeah, thanks for bringing that to the table. I'll look into that. I'll look that up. They're getting feisty, huh?
It's an amazing series. And Keith, don't worry, I'm watching that game either. It's the big videos that come out. Draymond Green had the other
social media.
Every single set. He had a tech, he had a flavored one, he had 5 fouls. Like this guy just stayed in. He got another foot in someone's head. This is an amazing series. It's unfortunately there's only 2 more games left, but it's been pretty nuts. It's both some other series, which let's be honest, is just kind of straightforward if you don't follow one of the teams.
Yeah, but the NBA, there's just so many good players, and so the players create the storylines. I mean, Knicks fans are seeing Asor Thompson, but I'm seeing his brother Amon Thompson balled out tonight. You got Dylan Brooks, you got Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, obviously their coach Ime Udoka. Like the Rockets are a good story, and the Warriors are a story every year, right? The Warriors look at the playoffs as their time, and they got Jimmy Buckets, playoff Jimmy. I don't know. I'll probably tap into that series now. Like I thought it was a foregone conclusion that the Warriors are going to win. I know Butler missed a game, he fell, and I don't know. Thanks for bringing that to my attention because, yeah, now I'm looking through a lot of different things with it. I haven't watched one of those games. Oh, I see now. Alperen Sengun got pushed.
Great. Anyways, before I get to my Messi's, that Jeff Olber's kid is one expensive kid. Like you'll see some parents get some of the kids, get the $4 instead of the $3. Wow, $100,000 fine for what he did. That's pretty nuts, kid. Like, can you imagine, what if you ever had that call that Jackson ever did something like that to you? You're pretty nuts.
Nah, see, that's you got to raise your kids. You got to prepare your kids. I'm already too rough and too tough on my 2-year-old son. My wife is yelling at me for how I'm yelling at my son. He's a baby, Keith. His brain isn't fully developed. I'm like, I know, but his brain's developed enough to know I'm not playing with him, that I'm his dad, that he's going to respect me. What a mistake this kid made and how much it cost his dad. I'm going to talk about it, but yeah, it shows you how entitled and how spoiled this kid is. His dad's been an NFL coach for years now. His dad also was an NFL player. So like his whole life has been handed to him, I'm sure. So we'll get into it.
Yeah, I mean, that's sometimes, the way you raise your kid, that's how it turns out. You see it later in life. But anyway, I think it's Messi's first got to give a shout out to the sports chat mix up, board people actually know what they're talking about. So they wanted to tell me to give it out to them. But anyway, someone's got to explain why the Mets keep on bringing in Ryan Fink. This guy's got a 3-game run streak of messing up the game. I don't see him anymore. At least, and there's so many random guys been going in and out of this bullpen that we've seen, when they're up 15 runs. At least the guy they had today went 4 innings. But this Ryan Fink guy, he's lost that. I can't stand him anymore. He just lets 3 out and it's just good. He hasn't gone to innings the last 3 outings. That's just unfortunate. My father went with a bunch of friends next, and they, till this dude comes in, they're having an amazing game, and this guy's got to ruin it like that for us. It's tough, It's been great at Citi Field. The team's been rocking, and this guy just has messed it up. 2 games versus the Nationals, now another game. Like, this team could have been 24-7 if not for this guy.
Greedy. It's not good enough. You Mets fans, all of a sudden now, you start winning, best record in baseball, you want every single game. You're going to lose. You're going to lose at home.
Same guy 3 games in a row, Keith. Is gonna get it.
They got to get him right at some point. Look at how many games in a row they threw Devin Williams out there for the Yankees, knowing he wasn't good, knowing he needed you got to give him opportunities to get right. You got to give him opportunities to get it done.
No, speaking of Devin Williams, the Mets and Yankees playing in 2 weeks. I think Devin Williams and Pete Alonso each have one thing for each other. I think Alonso's got a nice Ferrari for Devin Williams to say, thank you for revitalizing, rejuvenating my bat.
Nope, I bet they never have spoken. I bet they have nothing to do with each other.
And Devin Williams has a 98-mile-an-hour fastball coming for Alonso's head to ruin his career.
Devin Williams can't throw 98. Devin Williams is not touching 98. Thanks for the call, Josh. If Devin Williams was throwing a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, we might be in a different spot. Good segue into Devin Williams and the Yankees. So, Devin Williams comes in tonight, softer landing spot. You won, Yankee fans. You chanted, "We want Weaver," after he faced 2 batters last Friday, and the Yankees demoted him from the closer role and literally said that we can only pitch him on the road. I don't know if they're going to pitch him coming up here when they come back home. It depends on the situation. But, like, Friday, he's not getting into that game. It's deja vu. They gave out the hockey jerseys last Friday. It's Jazz Chisholm basketball jersey night. Going to be way more fans there. But, like, we're going to need him. The Padres are coming here after that. So I beg y'all, please don't make it harder on the guy. We eat our own. When he's out there, pick him up, clap, cheer, applaud. We need him to get right. It makes our bullpen, like, can we get to the point, and I don't know if he's going to get to the closer spot again. I hope he does. But Jonathan Loáisiga is coming back. Do you know how powerful the Yankees bullpen can be? You know how many games we can win by 1 run if we can go Loáisiga, Weaver, Devin Williams? Like, do you not see where we're heading here? There's just this future where you can survive Will Warren and Carlos Carrasco or even a Marcus Stroman because the bullpen is going to be so sturdy. This month, Loáisiga is coming back this month. So where I'm at with the Yankees, I'm cool. I'm glad that they didn't stay stuck on stupid. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. They played that Devin Williams game, and they won those stupid prizes enough times to say, okay, back to the lab. Got to fix him. And I won't say he's necessarily fixed. He's still all over the place. I was actually listening to the Baltimore broadcast, just the way that I watch my baseball sometimes. I've got free. I don't pay for cable. I won't tell you everything I do. But anyway, I got the feed because it was on Prime tonight. And I can't watch on Prime because then you're just watching that. Then I don't even see any of the Mets game. Then I don't see any of the other baseball games. I don't see anything. So anyway, I'm listening to the guys from the Orioles talk about how high his strikeout or how high his strikeout rate was compared to now, and how high his walk rate is now. And when you watch Devin Williams pitch, he's all over the zone. He's in and out. So tonight was better. They put him in a spot where he was better, and he got some help. I believe a runner was thrown out, and so he got out of the inning. But like, good, whatever. We're on the way. We're on the way. And for the entire bullpen, good, right? Tim Hill comes in and gives up 1 earned run, but other than that, Fernando Cruz, an inning and 2/3, he's been great. Devin Williams, got to get that ERA down, but for the most part, like, Devin Williams comes in. Let me go back to the box score. I remember it being like, good enough, bro, good enough. Peraza made that play on that ball that got hit, and he didn't give up. And they put him in a 1-run game, so that's still a high leverage spot in the 7th inning, right? Adley Rutschman grounds out. He walked Ryan O'Hearn, but then the tag play came, and that was the play that got him out of the inning. So all good with Devin Williams, all good with the bullpen. The rotation is what it is. And as we go into this series, right, Carrasco pitched tonight, so he's going to pitch again against the Padres. That Padres series is going to be interesting, man, because they're good and they've got some hitters, and they're going to come to New York and they're going to turn it on. And I don't know, Judge is going to be Judge. I expect Jazz to be back for his jersey. Jazz is going to be in the lineup tomorrow. Jazz will be back. But what I was saying before to you Yankee fans is, like, you see just taking Jazz out of the lineup. Like, imagine taking, I don't even want to say any of these other guys that have been performing well. You guys are so quick to want to quit on Volpe. Volpe raised his average almost 40 points in this last 2 series. Volpe needs a day off. He had a day off on Thursday. The fake rain on Saturday gave him an extra day off. He's fine. And his glove, his defense is needed. You're not taking that glove off the field. Trent Grisham, great. Trent Grisham can lead off. Trent Grisham back from paternity leave. Good to have him. Cody Bellinger even got somewhat better, right? Cody Bellinger is now over 200 batting average. Hit a home run. We really need him to get going. Dominguez got to be a little bit better. But DJ is coming back. I'm welcoming DJ back with open arms. Fool me, can't fool me again. Oh, I'm willing to be fooled again by DJ LeMahieu. I am. Because he is an alternative just to get us to the trade deadline. The combination of Peraza does nothing for me. Peraza, Cabrera, Pablo Reyes, the three of them do nothing for me. I'm not excited for any of their at-bats. I'm glad they can play the field. I mean, Cabrera barely at times. Other than that, though, Austin Wells, he had a couple knocks in this series and in the last one. He's got to return to form. Remember he had that hot August? We need him to do his thing. Paul Goldschmidt, no problems with. Obviously, Judge, no problems with. They're coming home for a little while, right? They came home for the Toronto series. It was just 3. Now we're in May. It's warmer weather. We've got Cinco de Mayo. They need to sweep Tampa. They should have swept Tampa in the 4-game set. They need to sweep Tampa. There's going to be big crowds this weekend. I think I was in the Bleacher Creature chat, and they were talking about the ballpark pass being sold out already. And I'm like, it's been a long time since I even checked on that. But I'm like, what does that tell you? That tells you people are buying up the ballpark pass for May. And I don't know, let me even go right now and look at the tickets. I'm sure the tickets for Jazz Chisholm Jersey night, they're probably not that available. And they're probably a high price. And there's going to be people out there 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, so anyway, 888-808-1019. Looking forward to the homestand. The Yankees need to bounce back, sweep Tampa, at the least take the series. And then we got a real good test against the San Diego Padres. What I'm going to do is look at the Padres and see who pitched for them. Like, are we about to see Michael King? Are we about to see – we're going to see our old pal Tyler Wade? Are we going to see Randy Vasquez? That is going to be an interesting series. 888-808-1019. And for the Mets today will have the rubber match against the Diamondbacks. An opportunity to take another series, get back into their winning ways. Even when they lost last night, it's a game that they were in till the very end. It's a game that you feel good about. But here comes Zach Gallen. He is not for play. He is an ace, and if he gets going, it could be a long day. Kodai Senga, you got to match him, and it's a day game. It's a 1:10 start, so got to be ready to compete, got to be ready to play. I've been betting on Juan Soto, and I actually stopped. Like Dinger Tuesday, I bet $20 plus the $50 profit boost on Juan Soto to homer. I'm done. I'm done betting on Juan Soto. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about my money. He doesn't care about my bets. But, where is it? Where is that Citi Field homer, bro? Where is it? I don't think it's coming off Zach Gallen. But then after that, the Mets will head to St. Louis. The Mets will head to Arizona. And then when they come back home, you got to face the Cubs. And I don't know if you're paying attention to the Cubs, but the Cubs are pretty good. You guys ever heard of Pete Crow Armstrong? Kathy is in Bayville on the Fan. What's up, Kathy?
Hi, Pete. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay. Listen, I have an idea, and just tell me what your thoughts are.
Okay.
Stuff is always like a combination of things. It's not like one cut and dry thing. So I believe that Juan Soto has a combination of issues going on, and here they are. So the first one is he went to the Mets probably thinking he was going to be a star, more so than Judges. And he's always been like a floating around kind of guy. Like, he's never stayed in one place a long time. Maybe in the beginning of 5 years or so when he first started his career. But he's sinking in. He's been with these people for like 15 years. I don't know. I think he's kind of like upset about that. Maybe.
Nah. He might not be upset, but maybe it's not what it was all cracked up to be. Maybe it's not what he imagined it to be. And I can relate to that. I told a story about, I took a job that I thought was my dream job at age 30, and I quit in 3 months. I was so disappointed. I'm like, I thought this was going to be everything. I thought I had arrived. I thought I made it in life. I remember, family members, even my mom, asking me questions, and I couldn't even with a straight. I'm like, I hate it. I couldn't even fake it like I was having a good time.
No, it's true. Yeah. See? And you know what? And I'm glad you got out of that job and you're here for sure. The other thing is that, maybe, if you're in a position and you've been there for a while and somebody else comes in and gets higher paid than you are, you feel like a little bit upset. So I'm wondering if he's getting a little snubbed from his teammates. And now he's not even performing, and that's even making it worse.
Yeah, like he's on the outside looking in his own clubhouse. Like he hasn't been at the center of any celebrations. He's not hitting enough home runs to come back into the dugout to get that love and the high fives and the hey. Like he's not even getting on base to do their wheels on the bus uppercut celebration.
He's not doing the shuffle.
And he's not doing his own signature shuffle.
There's something up. It's gotta be a few things. I'm sure he misses the fans of the Yankees. How could you not?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think there was any way the guy would leave that. Like, hey, you got to see what it was like to play for the best fans in baseball. You got to get that roll call. That roll call gets you going. I'm sure he had chills the first couple of times he heard that Juan Soto. He's like, oh yeah, I'm ready to play.
Oh, all right. Well, at least he has money.
Yeah, exactly. Money ain't everything, though. Thanks for the call, Kathy. 888-808-1019. Do you think that Juan Soto is on the inside looking in? He's looking at, I know, opening day, Citi Field, that clip of him when Pete Alonso homered right after he failed, and he's just sitting there. They're celebrating in the dugout. It's opening day. It's a holiday. It's a great time. And Juan Soto's just staring into the field, upset with himself. We're going to find out. I think those guys all want him to be a part of the team, but like he's so much bigger than the team. His contract is so huge. His name is so huge. Like you want to be one of the guys, but it's just like you're so much bigger than that now. It's hard to fit in. It's hard to just fall in line. It's hard to just shrink. And then, like I said, when you're not hitting doubles, you can't get to second base, look back at the dugout, do the, like Jeff McNeil might be fumbling around trying to hit the wheels on the bus uppercut. If you're watching my live, I got it down. Hey, yeah. I can do it. I can do the reverse. I just hit the mic. I just hit the reverse. At first they were doing the whole elephant trunk. But like those little things, and then when you think about the Yankees too, you think he's not looking across at the Yankees, even though the Yankees, like Yankee fans, we're looking at the Yankees. They might as well be a 500 team right now. We're not pleased, especially coming off losing to the Orioles like that. But you think there's a part of Juan Soto that's thinking, well, damn, they did offer me 760, and like Judge is going crazy right now, and that kid Ben Rice, he took my jersey, put it on. He looking better than me right now in it. Trent. Oh, my homie Trent from the Padres, who the Padres threw into the deal so they could just get his money off the books. Oh, Trent is balling. Oh, them Yankee fans are turned up. What are they doing? The Yankee Stadium's got the number one attendance in the American League, 46,000. They averaging 43,000 a night. Well, I'm over here for the next 15 years. I got to get comfortable. I got to get cozy. 888-808-1019. I mentioned Ben Rice. And this question, and I'm going to keep giving you guys the same answers about these things work themselves out. Shout out to Levi in my chat. Levi Sandhouse says, do you think Rice might catch when Stanton is back? People keep asking if he's going to catch. People keep asking if he's going to play third base. People keep asking, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? It is Giancarlo Stanton Jedi bobblehead day on May the 4th. I know. I think I put something out there. I'm like, I hope Stanton can be back for his bobblehead day. No, we don't know when Stanton is coming back. And there's no rush. I'm not worried about that. The last few nights I've been saying, we were screaming before this season, we need a bat, we need a bat, we need a bat. Did not know Ben Rice's bat was going to be this. Didn't know Trent Grisham's bat was going to be this. I guess the Yankees did. These things work themselves out, and I pray for health. I hope they don't work themselves out where, what happens when Clark Schmidt comes back? Who comes out? Are they going to have to send Will Warren down? Or are they going to have to? Well, Marcus Stroman's knee swelled up on him, so that was easy. But I'm not worried about Stanton until October. 888-808-1019. They're gonna play. And how about the Yankees have a bench? How about like and he's young. And he's not like a rookie, but I think he's 25, 26. And he said it. We're a better team with Giancarlo Stanton, but also Stanton takes a while to like these things, they're so far down the road. It is May 1st. We honestly don't need to worry about Stanton probably until July 1st. Ben Rice, continue. Ben Rice, continue. Like, I'm more worried about, okay, what is DJ LeMahieu going to be? Is he going to be a waste of time again? Or, like, can he come back and be better at the plate than Pablo Reyes, Oswald Peraza, Oswaldo Cabrera? I think he could. This is a guy that a few years back was the machine getting MVP votes, right-handed bat. We need a right-handed bat in the lineup. Well, here he comes. He's making $15 million a year. They're going to run him out there. And what they do with the starting rotation, I don't know. Judge is having an MVP season. When you go to MLB and you look at the stats, and I think the Yankees have put it out, it's actually ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's for one guy to be this dominant. But yeah, they're going to tell you, he's got to do it in October, though. Yeah, we know. We're trying to get to another October. 888-808-1019. Judge is on top of the leaderboards, and he's not stopping. The Yankees put out a tweet today. Your MLB leader in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, hits, times on base, total bases, and WAR. Judge has a 2.9 WAR starting the season. Like, you want to talk about Judge and Juan Soto? The Yankees offered Juan Soto almost double Judge's contract. The Yankees offered Juan Soto $47.5 million a year. Judge is making $40 million a year. If Juan Soto would have taken that, and imagine Juan Soto's on his team struggling and Judge is doing this, Judge is coming in like a steal. We got Judge for a bargain these next few years. And I love all these weirdos online that love to tell me Judge is aging out. Judge won't be like this in another 2-3 years. If Judge is this good, and he just turned 33 over the weekend, Taurus season is upon us. If Judge is this good at 33, he's getting better. Like, if he's still climbing, when does he hit his peak and then start going the other way down? 34? 35? We still got time. I pray this is the year. I pray this is the year that they get to the postseason and they pitch to Judge, and Judge just goes crazy. They keep pitching to him. Even how this guy and Povich in the beginning, I'm like, silly rabbit, you throw that in there. You throw that in there like that's not going to get rocked. Like Judge is not dialed in to start the game. Of course he is. 888-808-1019. As we're coming up on the 12:30 break, I'm going to tease some things coming up. We're definitely going to talk about the Knicks as, man, would you look at that? Game 6. Oh, boy. This shouldn't be so stressful. And I'm not even a Knicks fan. I'm stressed for some of my friends and family members, some of y'all listening. What are the chances the Pistons lose every game on their home floor? It's slim. It's pretty slim. And speaking of the home floor, I didn't catch this last night when I was on. I saw it afterwards. That video of the Madison Square Garden floor when the Knicks decided to go City Edition last night, 2 nights ago now. That video, I don't know if it's the video quality. I don't know if it's the light. But it looks like the floor gives a bit. Like, and that is how I didn't realize. I thought it was OG, and in real time, I thought it was OG and Brunson colliding, and I didn't see this on air. I wish somebody sent it to me. Like, Brunson tweaks his ankle on that floor, and that's not their regular floor. That's the City Edition floor they had on the City Edition jerseys. You mean to tell me, like, attention to detail, man, anything can get you. Like, the home floor, that's friendly fire, friendly backfire. Like, that's what caused the injury, and then he's out of the game. Like, a panel, a loose panel in the hardwood. Brunson's got to be on the floor in the fourth quarter, the entire fourth quarter for the most part. He can't It seems like every game he either tweaks the ankle or he's got to go back in or he's got to come out. And you guys listen to the fan today. Even if you heard me last night, you got to go down swinging. And they didn't go down swinging. They lost without their clutch player of the year on the floor. That can't happen. But now the momentum shifts into the favor of the Detroit Pistons completely. And I think they might even be favored in FanDuel. They can't lose every game on their floor. Their fans are going to be fired up again because it even got back here. And I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. Yeah, Detroit is favored by 1.5. So, all right, coming up in the next 90 minutes, I already see a Knicks call. Shout out to Patrick in Brooklyn. We will talk Knicks. We will also talk about Jax Ulbrich, the punishment for the Shedeur Sanders prank call, and some more news with Shedeur Sanders. I will also talk Jets, the news around Jordan Travis, and the Jets draft. They didn't draft a quarterback, but they drafted enough players. And even the Giants, they did draft a quarterback, and what their team is going to look like. And that'll probably take us home till 2 a.m. So Keith McPherson on the fan. And if you want to talk any of those things, we don't have to go in that order necessarily. But we're going to break right here. When we come back, I'll talk more about the Knicks. I'll cue up the Jeff Ulbrich apology. We'll talk about him. We'll talk about the Jets. We'll talk about Jordan Travis. We'll talk about the Giants as well. And then I'll pass the mic to C-Mac at 2 a.m. KM to AM returns right after this. Okay. So I'm talking to Dre on Twitter. I'm like, I've easily wasted $200 betting on Soto this season. He only cashed that. I knew after Hader struck him out in the first game, I bet on him in the homer the next game. That's the only bet Soto cashed for me this whole year. Let me see, man. Going back in the chat. Okay, you said Alpern Segun balled for the Rockets. Yeah, but I wasn't gonna make him the big shot. There's people listening that don't even know who he is. They should. Warriors got smoked. Yeah, I looked at the box score. I'm like, they didn't have anything for him. Could be LeBron's last game. It's not. It's not. Matter of fact, I should get that game on. What channel is TNT? What channel is TNT? All right, there we go. It is 89-88 T-Wolves. Let's see what else we got. Jordan Travis injury. Shedeur Sanders. Okay. Keith, do you think Uncle Steve has buyer's remorse? Nah. Especially because he's into investments and he buys art and stuff that appreciates over time. Nah, he bought this player for the next decade and a half. He's not tripping off the first month. I know that for sure. Friday is free day. I like to play on the words. Yep. I saw the article headline. I did not see the video. The Yankees can be the best bullpen in baseball and healthy. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah, who's missing Stanton right now? I'm not. How tough is Grisham when he crushes one and he never watches? Yeah, he's almost ashamed. He's like, what have I done? I'll miss Stanton if he's not available in October. I didn't like when the Diamondbacks were here, Stanton told the team we don't get swept at home. And I'm like, bro, don't do that shit, because if the Mets sweep us this year at home, they're gonna pull that quote back up. Don't even say that. We definitely get swept at home. The Yankees got swept by the Cincinnati Reds at home last year. That's where I was, and I brought this. Also, you guys, like how I use Levi, you guys are live in the chat. If you put something out there that I think is good, I'll read it on air. Gabe, appreciate you, bro. I don't know. We'll see. Always got to wait for that beat to skip. LL, KM, WFAN. Taking calls, talking sports. That's what we do here. And people don't get tired of it all day, every day. I turn the radio on. I'm like, oh, they're talking about Tom Thibodeau again. You guys think that if the Knicks lose in Detroit tonight, and then all bets are off in the Garden, they've already lost 2 games in there, and you think they're firing the coach? I don't. I think there's going to be a lot of loud noise to fire him. I also don't think they're losing the series. Again, I'll say what I said to start. I said Knicks in 6. I think that they feel the desperation. I think they also feel the disappointment of losing in the Garden like they did. I think they actually find that urgency that I was, looking for yesterday, 2 days ago now. I think the Knicks actually go into Detroit and they play better as the villain. They play better as the visiting team with people booing them and these Detroit fans trash talking them and F you Brunson, and that, like, I think that they're better suited to go to Little Caesars Arena and end it. It's not going to be easy. You're going to need heroics. That's why I said Brunson's got to stay on the floor. They need to play this damn game like there is no tomorrow. They need to play this game like, yo, there is no coming out of the game. There is no I'm hurt. There is the stars have to play. Karl Anthony Towns has to ball again. Jalen Brunson has to ball. OG, do it. Mikal Bridges, I'm not expecting anything out of you, bro. Play defense. Hit the open shots. Can you hit the open shots when they need them? Not just garbage time or when it's too little too late. But this is huge, man. You cannot get to a game 7. Like I said, all bets are off. You get to a game 7 in the Garden, not for nothing, yo. And I don't really do this because I know it doesn't matter. I'm a Nets fan. I don't talk about the Nets. They're irrelevant. There's nothing to talk about, even in the light of all the picks that they got from Mikal Bridges. But that feeling of being in Barclays Center in the second round against the Bucks, game 7, I'll never forget that sick feeling. I'll never forget how that felt. 888-808-1019. I'll never forget how that stadium lit up. I've never seen more people in there. I've never been in a better atmosphere in Barclays Center than game 7, KD foot on the line. I actually had a video go viral on my Twitter account because I'm the only one that wasn't celebrating. I knew. I'd watched enough games in there from that seat, from that vantage point. They hit the 3 button and, everyone's celebrating, and they even had the 3 going off on, like, the tickers and the screen. I was with my wife, and my wife is not celebrating either because she sees I'm not, like, you even could see my eyes, like, I look up at the scoreboard, I look down, and I'm just like, I got a sick feeling in my stomach. We're gonna lose this game. We're gonna lose this game. We did, and I ran out of there. I couldn't have got out of there faster. And, it's been downhill ever since. So, the Knicks better not get to a game 7. And I know even if they get to a game 7 and they win it, people are gonna party in the streets, but then, Celtics are laid up right now, plotting, waiting, resting. Gotta end it tonight. Knicks in 6, like I originally said. Patrick is in Brooklyn on the Fan. What's up, Pat?
Good morning. I'm sorry.
Same difference to me. You don't gotta apologize.
All right. I'm not the biggest Thibodeau fan. Even when he was hired, I was like, this man has never won a championship with no team. I don't hate him, but the last game, I was just like, scratch my head. He didn't challenge any play in the first half. He said he was terrible. Was there any challenges the next season in the whole game? I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think so. OG ended up, he proved himself when Brunson was hurt that he could score. Why can't he get some touches on the offensive end?
Has to, yeah.
They have Bridges.
No, I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. OG do it. Like, not Mikal Bridges. Like, we saw, like you said, OG had a run where he was scoring 20, 25, almost 30 points a night.
That's what I'm saying. I don't hate Thibodeau, but there's certain things I'm just like, let OG get some touches. I like him playing Mitchell Robinson, but at the same time, when you have Robinson and Towns on the court at the same time, those like short spurts.
Yeah, then you got Campaign and Deuce McBride out there. You know what it is with Tibbs too when you talk about his challenge? Like, he does play it safe. He's too cautious. He's holding that challenge in his back pocket till late in the game, right? Like, even the timeout, he held that timeout. And it's like, no, you should have hit that timeout at 2 minutes. Because if you would have been able to get them back into the game, we don't know how the possessions go. We don't know how, like, Brunson might not miss, and Josh Hart might have a steal, rebound. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's too late now.
Yeah, it's too late now. That's why I hope it's a little better. You can learn. I mean, I'm saying not learn from his mistakes, but this team could score better. Mikal Bridges, I don't know. I don't know his game that he don't feel comfortable, I think. Lastly, I'm going to say, I'm a Mets fan. I hear you Yankee fans always chirping. A lot of people was getting at me when there was a free agent, and I told them, you don't know, we got a new owner. Well, he ain't new now, but he got more money than everybody else. Why can't Soto come to the Mets? So when he came over here, I'm just telling you Yankee fans, okay, every dog has his day. And I was just, cream rises to the top. He's struggling right now, but just like Lindor, when he first came to the Mets, he struggled in the beginning too. And look at him now. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for the call, Patrick. Yeah, we'll go backwards with Soto. Just give it time. But we can't give it time. These are daily, nightly shows. They play every day. We react every day. And every day that Juan Soto isn't the star of the game, the big shot of the night, it's what the hell is wrong with Juan Soto? Every day that it goes on, we add a new layer. We investigate more. We come up with new theories. But I like what you said about, oh, look at this. I'm watching a Laker game. They got Kyrie Irving courtside in LA. It's 93-91 Timberwolves over the Lakers with 3 minutes left. Somebody in my chat said this might be LeBron's last game. No, it's not. I think you're bugging out if you think. First off, Luka is a Laker. You think he's only going to play a couple months with Luka? No, LeBron's not going out like that. And I don't know. Maybe they win this game. But I like what you said about, because like a lot of us Yankee fans, and us included, have looked down on the Mets and looked down on the Mets brand, looked down on the Mets color scheme, looked down on the Mets history, looked down on the Mets decisions, and been like, why would Juan Soto want to go over there? And like you said, we got the richest owner in the sport. It was a perfect pairing. We didn't want to believe it. We wanted to believe all of our other things and money was something that Juan Soto couldn't turn down. And he was already with us feeling it. How are you going to walk away when you got to experience it? Now he walked away, but a lot of Yankee fans are feeling like there's a silver lining in all this. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe I'm only speaking for myself and some of the people I speak with. Like, yo, he did us a solid. I think he'd be performing better if he was on this Yankee team, but I don't know if this Yankee team would be. And this Yankee team to me is that they're mid right now. The Judge is good, but like if you think about all of the additions and things that the Yankees needed, like Max Fried wouldn't be on this team. Goldschmidt arguably wouldn't be on this team. Maybe, Devin Williams, maybe they'd be better without Devin Williams. Fernando Cruz, Cody Bellinger. The Yankees needed to lose Juan Soto. Maybe if Juan Soto is here, Judge has another slow April, right? But with Cole going down, the number one thing the Yankees needed to do in this offseason before they knew Cole was going down was to get Max Fried. So it worked out for both parties. It worked out for both parties. 888-808-1019. It hasn't worked out yet for the Met fan that wants Juan Soto to be amazing. But isn't it amazing you don't need him to be amazing to be an amazing team, to be the best team in baseball, to win games? It'll come around. And yeah, going back to the Knicks, like Tibbs got to coach his ass off. Have a sense of urgency. But you know what? I don't think he needs to have a sense of urgency. Like I played the clip last night as soon as we got it and him talking about coach's decision. Okay, explain your decision, coach. How do you freeze in the moment? It's an elimination game. How do you let all those tick, 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 tick? Did you just think that the ball was going to, I don't know. I'm calling timeout. I got to get my captain back in. I got to get my point guard back in. I got to get my clutch player in that when the offense is running through his hands, like we have the advantage. And so they'll learn from it. It's a series. I've been saying this the entire series. When you're playing against the same team, it's so redundant. And you get the familiarity. It gets annoying. But not every game is the same. And yeah, speaking of not every game is the same. Minnesota goes up 100-94 over the Lakers. They're about to close them out. In the crypto.com arena. Should have never changed the name. Staples Center, the house that Kobe built. But yeah, here we go. The Knicks have to and it has to start early. Here's the three things I'm looking for. The sense of urgency, coaching your ass off and playing tough and coming out of the gate. 2, and establish a lead. Do not let that building build. Do not let their confidence, do not let them get the feeling that, yep, we're forcing a game 7. And then in that third quarter, I want to see them come out of halftime. I think Mikal Bridges suggested how they do their layup lines or something, changing some. That third quarter, they better win that third quarter. Can't lose every third quarter in the series. Danny is in Nyack on the Fan. What's up, Danny?
Hey, Keith. I'm a big Mets fan, Knicks fan. I'm loving what's going on. But obviously with the Knicks, there's an issue when they get to the playoffs, the same way the Mets were when they were under Buck Showalter. So my comparison is, I feel like Tibbs is kind of like Buck Showalter, if you see what I'm saying. They can get a bad team, they can kind of rally them over the years and get them to the playoffs, but they can't get them over the hump to the finals. And I think that's just what we're seeing with the Knicks. And I think ultimately it's not going to be Tibbs that gets us there. It's going to be somebody else. But he's done his thing up until this point, and that's about it.
I think they're going to give him another run because I think that, and we don't hear from Leon Rose at all, but Leon Rose made a couple moves this summer to change this team, and Knicks fans love the team that they had. The first move, they loved the idea of adding Mikal Bridges, but the second move that subtracted Dante DiVincenzo and added Karl-Anthony Towns, it's I don't know now. As we're looking at the Timberwolves right now, they're about to advance.
Like DiVincenzo, you get rid of Randall, but DiVincenzo, he's like Tommy says, he's a dog. That's the one that's the piece that we're missing right now. And Tibbs, I like his style, but he's not going to take us to the promised land.
Yeah, but that phrase that you're using about him, that's what everybody's saying. But like, I really think that like Brunson has stuck his neck out for him and talked a lot about, they're not going to kick him to the curb. They're going to change the team. They're going to change his personnel again. They've already tweaked this. They've changed this team every single year. They're going to do it again. They're going to tweak the team again. They're going to change it. Maybe they trade Mikal Bridges away.
Like just last, I mean, like Lindor stuck his neck out for Buck, and I like Buck Showalter, but I feel like he was not the one.
That was different though. That was different though. Yeah. Like, because when Stearns came in, Stearns is above. Like Stearns is. I mean, and look what you got in Mendoza. Stearns only is going to hire, or he's not coming in and inheriting a GM. If he's coming in as the president of baseball operations, I need to hand pick a guy that I can work with every single day. I'm not taking the guy that Billy Epler and Steve Cohen appointed. And like Buck was old, and his theories and things would probably clash with how they're doing things now. They made a great decision there, even though Lindor, gave him a stamp of approval.
Definitely. I definitely hear what you're saying, and I just I mean, they're not going to get rid of Leon Rose, but I feel like they need a Mendoza of basketball to replace this to get us. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, maybe a younger first-time head coach that's more innovative and got some different theories. I know, Tom Thibodeau's been around the block. Thanks for the call, Danny. I'm watching this game. I'm like, this is raps. And as Dante DiVincenzo has the ball, what you miss in Dante DiVincenzo, and I should go find the clip. But you might have heard it if you're following NBA, but verbatim, Ant-Man was in the post game after the last win, and DiVincenzo was sitting with Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Edwards is like rubbing his shoulder. He's like, my guy right here. And he basically said, he's like, Dante DiVincenzo tells him what the other team is doing defensively, what defense they're running, how they're trying to attack him, how they're trying to stop him, because sometimes Ant-Man is just out there hooping. So anybody thinking that DiVincenzo could be traded back, Anthony Edwards doesn't want that. So it's not that you're missing a dog. You're definitely missing a dog, because DiVincenzo, he's getting at Embiid, he's getting at Isaiah Stewart, like Delaware Jordan. And like, if you know about Dante DiVincenzo, how he came up, like, he's like, yes, he's a white boy, but like, he's not your average white boy at all. So like, he's out there and he's like, he's different. He's also a high IQ player, and he'd be coming off the bench with this Knicks team and he'd be shooting. Like, you missed that. You missed that. You missed that. You missed that attitude. You missed that IQ, and you miss his skill set. But like, it's over. It's over for that. It's over for that. They chose that. You had to give to get. It's just kind of like the chess game, right? One move leads to another move, and now you can't go back. You can't double back. You couldn't pay Isaiah Hartenstein because of how you acquired him. You couldn't pay him more than Oklahoma City. So you need a big man, and that's final. 103, 96, Luka and LeBron. I know somewhere Nico Harrison is like, thank God. I know somewhere he's like, thank God they got bounced in the first round. Kevin is in the Bronx, next up on the Fan. What's up, Kev?
Hey, what's up, Keith? Long time listener, first time caller.
Appreciate it.
All right, look, I want to see your thoughts on what about, because the Knicks have a dog that's on the bench that, they signed him to 2 10-day contracts, and then they signed him to a 2-year contract with PJ Tucker. And then, he guarded Kevin Durant when he played with, Milwaukee. He's like,
I saw it. Granted, it was some years ago. We saw PJ Tucker against Detroit in the end of the regular season. He looked like he was trying to get his win. But even then, if you remember, like, he was getting in some people's faces. He kind of had Brunson's back, and it got contentious.
Yeah.
They're not going to put him in. Tibbs is not going to use him. He's not going to play. And he's good for a corner three.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He shoots his feet just as good as hard.
Yeah, but they won't. I mean, you got 3 guys that are going to get off the bench.
Yeah.
Campaign, Deuce McBride, Mitchell Robinson, and Tibbs is gonna run with his starters. even though PJ is there as like an enforcer that they signed late, there's no role for him. They don't have a plan for him to enter the game. But yeah, no, he played a hell of a role for that Bucks team. Back in what 2021.
Yeah, he was getting into it with Durant's mom. He's like, "You're guarding my son like a football player."
Yeah, I was in there. That was his specific job. Some of those games he didn't have any points, but he was making it tough on KD. And those guys they're Texas Longhorns. They got a relationship that goes back years. But yeah, PJ Tucker's not even that same player anymore. And I know they acquired him, but yeah, he's not going to enter the game.
All right, thanks for taking my call, man.
Of course, appreciate the call and the thought, right? Because you're looking for answers. You're looking for options. I hear people calling WFA and suggesting Precious Achua get in the game. He's not. Not now. It's game 6. Like, you try that out in games 1, 2, maybe 3. Now game 6 is, man, we know who is who and what is what. And it's kind of crazy to think, as I mentioned, Isaiah Stewart, the Knicks are facing a Pistons team without Isaiah Stewart, without Jaden Ivey. And they're struggling. This should have been over. So 888-808-1019. Coming up on my last hour, we can continue with the Knicks conversation if you want to get a word in. I do want to speak on Jeff Ulbrich. I do want to play his apology, former Jets head coach Jeff Ulbrich. And then that will lead us into Shedeur Sanders conversation and the new developments with Shedeur Sanders now a week after the NFL draft. And we'll talk Jets a little bit too, a couple of things that I saw online from the Jets. So NFL talk coming up in this last hour, but continuing to take your calls on the Knicks as we get ready for game 6 in Little Caesars Arena. And of course, Mets and Yankees as we're in the season. And now it's May. You can't say it's April anymore. It's getting late early. So your calls and comments and thoughts on the Mets, on the Yankees, the Knicks, as well as Jets and NFL stuff coming up. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Stay with us. We will be right back. Okay. Yo, you're wildin'. It's Bonnie's time. Yo, you had me laughing, Bourbon Legend. Gonna be Gable who does your braids. So, I'll flex them too. I don't mind flexing. Cause this takes a lot of money and time to get done. It's an African girl. I used to go to this Jamaican girl. It's this African girl in the city that I go to. Her name is Fatu. And if Lulu is in the chat, but Lulu I think only follows me on Instagram. Lulu is the Jamaican girl from Harlem that I used to go to. But I don't want to go all the way up to Harlem. The train up there takes forever. Driving up there, I got to take the toll, got to find parking. It just started to become too much of a hassle. To get your hair done like this, in braids like this, is $150 and about 2.5 hours of work. Now the fade, the haircut part, my homie Ray does my fade, my shape up, my haircut. And before my hair was long, I was going to Ray. I've been going to the same barber for over a decade. So yeah, it's not gay for you to ask. It's an observation, and I'll tell you the answer. You said it's got Dominican style. Yeah, a lot of Dominicans like Tatis. You might see Tatis with his hair like this. Luis Gil and Jose Siri, they had their hair like this, but they had lock extensions. Like they had somebody make like fake hair and add it to their hair. This is all my hair. This is 7 years of growth. And honestly, when I started growing my hair, I didn't know it would look like this. It wasn't the plan. And you know how we were talking about Soto and how I talked about how like when I was 30, I took my dream job and I started working at a place. I started working at Rock Nation. I was working at Jay-Z's sports and music label. And me being a sports and music fan, I'm like, I've arrived. I've made it. Like, I'm in the city. I'm at 1411 Broadway, so I'm commuting into the city every day, and I'm in the middle of the city, like right down from Times Square. I think I had just turned 30, and that was the highest paying job I had at the time. I'm not even gonna tell you how much money it was because it's not that much money now. And like now that I know what I know, um, the first day that I go to work, Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, is in a conference room performing on the table, and he's performing "I Am Just an Icon Living." Remember, he had that rap album. Before I went to work there, I was at Coachella like 2 weeks before, and I had this like frohawk, and it had like blonde in it, just ridiculous frohawk that I had, and I shaved it when I got the job because I wanted to like fit in. I thought, I don't know what I thought. I didn't have any idea. Even my first day of work, I showed up in a shirt tie with slacks and dress shoes, and I got clowned. They were like, "Why are you dressed like that? You don't got to dress like that here." I'm like, "This is a sports agency. This is a record label. I'm thinking I made the big time." And I hated the job. And I won't go into detail why I hated it, but I ended up quitting in less than 3 months, and that set me on this course to get here. And when I quit that job, right before I quit that job, I got a haircut. And I said, that's going to be my last haircut. I'm just going to let my hair grow. And I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to just do a bunch of things and see where God and the universe takes me. And my hair is part of that journey. It's literally a 7-year timestamp from that time to this time. And I can tell that story, and I've told that story hundreds of times. But like, yeah, it's all correlated, all connected. I made a decision, like, I'm not going to cut my hair for a job. I'm just going to grow my hair, and I'm just going to be myself and see where it takes me. So far, so good. Lakers are cooked, eliminated.
Good morning at 1 o'clock. I'm Marco.
Yo, and I didn't put that together until now. Okay, my last hour on the fan. Really, my last 54 minutes. So 888-808-1019, last call for calls if you want to talk about anything we talked about. Let's introduce something else that we haven't talked about. Then we'll go back to the phones. Howard, stay where you are. You'll be first. So first, I want to say that prank calls at the draft have been going on forever. If you remember, Baker Mayfield was the first pick, and one of his buddies pranked him that was at his draft party. But it's different when you get pranked by someone that got your number, your personal number from a friend or a college classmate or a teammate, it is a complete different thing when Shador Sanders has a phone specifically for NFL personnel and that number gets leaked, and not even leaked. That number basically was stolen and used to prank him. And what you're seeing here is the NFL, right? When we talked about Stephen A. Smith calling collusion, there's no collusion here. The NFL, as far as a company, Roger Goodell, the NFL offices, shout out to the NFL offices. I've been up there years ago, interviewed for the NFL. Like, they are a marketing machine, and like they are all in on Shador Sanders. So much so that like they pinned his tweet on, or his graphic on their Instagram. You've never seen a 144 fifth round pick get as much hype and coverage, even in the draft. I think a memo was sent out, not just from the NFL, but ESPN and Mel Kiper, like Shador, because the kid's got 2.4 million Instagram followers. He's got kids that are fans of him, but he's also got a lot of people just across, like, all types of walks of life, and definitely the Black community supporting him as well. And those numbers are what dictate a lot of things. A lot of things are decided off of following and engagement and what gets clicks. So Shador's family was all at his house in Texas where he grew up. And his brother, Bucky, Deion Sanders Jr., is always vlogging. They vlog everything, and then they go back and cut it up and edit it and put it out. They just don't know when a moment is going to hit that might be good content. Everything. I've heard Tiki Barber refer to them as the Kardashians of football. He is correct. They had a reality TV show years ago, and ever since, they have been documenting everything. So what made this also heightened is that they were able to release the clip of him being prank called. And I've gone back and forth with some people about it. People are so stupid. They're like, it was a prank. Tyler Warren got pranked. Abdul Carter got pranked. This guy got pranked. That guy got pranked. Okay, they're not Shador Sanders. We don't have film of the prank call. And the number wasn't a breach of NFL private information. So let's play Jeff Ulbrich after the verdict comes down today or yesterday now that the NFL finds, right, the Shield. They can't have stuff like this go on. People were calling for the Falcons to fire this guy. He hasn't even started yet. He just got the job. But the NFL fined the Falcons $250,000 and Jeff Ulbrich $100,000 because his son, Jax Ulbrich, went on his iPad, took the number down, brought it to his friends, and in a dorm room, they pranked Shador Sanders, and it went viral. Let's hear what former Jets head coach Jeff Ulbrich had to say today at the podium, clearly emotional and showing some remorse for the mistake that happened and how this all went down.
First of all, I'd like to apologize to Shador and his family for what occurred. Second of all, apologize to Mr. Blaine, Terry Fontenot, Rick Morris, and the entire Falcons organization. My actions, not protecting confidential data, were inexcusable. Some actions were absolutely inexcusable. And for that, we are both deeply sorry. The NFL has taken action, and I fully respect the punishment. We take full responsibility, my son and myself, and we will not be including the fine in any way. Going forward, I promise my son and I will work hard to demonstrate we are better than this. Again, I'm deeply sorry for our actions.
Yeah, so, it's probably been a tough couple days for him. You could probably understand that when this came across, he was probably as shocked as anybody else. Jax Ulbrich is a football player at Berry College. And I think Berry College is a small private school, probably D2 or D3. He obviously is there now in Georgia because his dad is coaching at the Atlanta Falcons, but he obviously also was up here in Jersey with the Jets while his dad was head coach there. This young man has been around his dad being an NFL head coach for years and an NFL player when he was a kid. When you hear Jeff Ulbrich talk about we take full responsibility, he's taking full responsibility, with the kid that he raised doing this, as well as like him falling asleep at the wheel with confidential information and not even having the presence of mind that, hey, like my son is a knucklehead. My son could take this and do something with it that could hurt me. So Jax Ulbrich, number 20 at Berry College, he's a running back. Everybody knows him now because when I Googled his name, the roster comes up. And when you see that video, that's another thing too. Like if you want to do something, don't film it. Like if you want to do something funny, like get the laugh. But like, you know what? Everybody needs clicks now. This young man cost his family $100,000. I don't know how his dad doesn't absolutely whoop his ass. Like maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. $100,000 because you wanted to be funny. $100,000, like, and he's there's clearly two other guys in the room. The guy that called, like when you see the viral video, Jax is the one sitting on the bed. But there's a guy that called wearing the Ole Miss shirt and then someone filming it. Where are their dads? Where's the fine for them? Like you put your dad's job in jeopardy. And I feel bad for Jeff Ulbrich. I was just saying to Fleegs and Connor as Fleegs came in and Connor left. They're both Jets fans. I'm like, damn, look at all the situations Jeff Ulbrich has been thrown into. He comes in thinking he's going to be defensive coordinator with Rob Saleh, and Zach Wilson is going to come in, or I don't even know. He's there before Zach Wilson, but Zach Wilson comes in. That's an absolute mess. Then they get Aaron Rodgers, and they think, like you've seen him in Hard Knocks talk about, like yo, we're going to be in every game because that guy can make every throw. And then 4 plays in. And then this year, 5 games in, they fire Rob Saleh and they make him head coach. And what? I gotta be a head coach now. And then obviously they fire everyone, and he's able to join Raheem Morris down in Atlanta as the defensive coordinator before he can coach a practice, before he can even get through his first draft. His son is putting his job in jeopardy, costing him $100,000 and going viral where everybody sees this, everybody knows this. But you know what? Shedeur Sanders and Dion, they took the call, and they were very gracious, obviously, and understanding. And, I don't think they made a big deal out of it because they're like, yo, it is what it is. Kids are going to be kids. But this kid is 21 years old. He's in college. That was foul because you messed up somebody's moment, right? This is a moment that this guy worked for and been waiting for. And yeah, people say it's just a prank. And so what? It was funny. Yeah, well, it wasn't funny to the NFL. It wasn't funny to the Falcons who drafted Dion. It cost the Falcons $250,000. It's $350,000 worth of damage because you wanted to be funny. Like, I'm sure Jeff Ulbrich went belt to ass or maybe fist to back or something. That I'm sure Jax Ulbrich he's still feeling it right now. 888-808-1019. But as far as Shedeur Sanders goes, talking about how they film everything, Shedeur is in Cleveland. Video has already come out of him running up a hill, doing lunges up a hill, working out. I'm sure he's already reported to the facility. Now he's got to get it out the mud, right? A kid that's had everything handed to him, a kid that's had everything put in front of him because of his dad. His dad can't help him here. Now he's got to grind. Now he's got to work. Let's see what happens. I know what is going to continue, though, and already has happened. Shedeur Sanders has the top selling jersey out of the 2025 rookie class. You know why? Because he's Shedeur Sanders. Because he's got 2.4 million Instagram followers and a bunch of more Twitter followers and YouTube subs, and no such publicity is bad publicity. Yeah, he got humbled, but people think that he got embarrassed and they taught him a lesson. He's still getting money, and that jersey's going to be everywhere. He's selling more jerseys than when Colin Kaepernick. And it's funny, as I say that, I click on the article and there's Colin Kaepernick in the article. because people wanted to pair these two, that the NFL colluded against Colin Kaepernick, and they're doing the same thing with Shedeur. No, they're not. No, they're not. I think there might have been 10 teams that potentially even met with Shedeur and thought about drafting him, and maybe 2 or 3 of those teams, after the way that he handled the meetings and everything else, took him off the board. And then as he fell, he probably lost another 2 or 3 other teams. And then as quarterbacks were drafted by those teams, there was really one team that would take him, and it was the Browns, who had already taken Dylan Gabriel, and they just spun the block again and picked him up. But hey, this is creating a great movie, right? Let's see what Shedeur Sanders has an opportunity to go in there and compete and make the team and potentially start. So 877-337-6666. That's not the number anymore, but wanted to get that Jeff Ulbrich story in, and also wanted to plant some seeds with the Jet fans. One, Jordan Travis. I know I heard a bunch of calls come in about Jordan Travis. Well, how about Jordan Travis? What about that Jordan Travis? Actually, it's a waste of a draft pick, because Jordan Travis is retiring from the NFL, and I feel terrible for the guy, because I watched him at Florida State. He made me some money at Florida State, and he was a baller. He could play. His leg just never responded the way that he hoped. Is that on the Jets? I don't know. Who did he rehab with? Who did he trust? But anyway, he said, I gave everything I had to the rehab process. Despite all my efforts, my leg never responded the way we hoped. I've been medically advised to retire from the game I love so deeply. Like, that sucks. That hurts. And it's funny because Aaron Glenn was asked about him. He said, I'm not a doctor. Well, the doctors say that he shouldn't play. So we'll see what happens with that. In other news, your boy Sauce Gardner is dating Ice Spice. They're posting pictures. First, there was a picture, I think, outside by his truck. Now they got the bathroom selfie going. A New York love story. Ahmad Sauce Gardner, number 1 from your New York Jets out in Florham Park, and Ice Spice from the Bronx, from the BX power couple. You know, she was with Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift had her at the Super Bowl, and she saw Taylor Swift was dating Travis Kelce, and she's like, oh, I got to get me a baller. I got to get me a football player. Sauce, don't get lost in the sauce, bro. You need to have a big year. And for the Yankees, I was saying this last year, we need Ice Spice to come to the stadium and throw out the first pitch. See how I'm bringing it around? See how follow me. We need Ice Spice to come to Yankee Stadium and throw out the first pitch. A Boogie has, and I've seen A Boogie in Legends. We need Ice Spice to throw out the first pitch of the Subway Series, and we need her and Sauce to be sitting in Legends for Mets versus Yankees, the first matchup of Soto versus Judge. Howard in Westchester County, you're on the Fan. Go for it, Howard.
Hey, how are you? Love the show.
Thanks, man.
Couple quick things. Couple numbers for you to chew on for a second. I got 10, 31, 427, 3, 12, 241.
Okay, are those Judge's numbers?
Those are Judge's numbers followed by Soto's numbers. And the numbers are staggering. And I'm not
Sure where he would have done that on the Yankees or not, but I don't think it was just money. I think he wanted his own team and get away from Judge, but that may not have been a great idea in retrospect. Batting in front of Judge is not a bad thing. But when you look at those numbers, 10, 31, 4, 27, 3, 12, and 2, 41, pretty amazing, staggering differences there.
Yeah.
Judge. The other piece I wanted to mention, my Knicks, I think Knicks fans really don't get this team that much. They're a very talented team. I think the dog that's really missing is not Randall or DiVincenzo, who I like very much, but Hartenstein. He rebounded. He was tough. He passed the ball.
Yes.
He hit that running little jump shot. He did everything that Miss Robinson can't do.
Yeah.
Rebound. And so that's the dog I think they're missing. And
great point.
A huge Knicks fan, and that's the difference, man.
It's, and I like Randall and DiVincenzo, but
Hartenstein's the main difference.
Yeah. No, you're right. If he was on this team, it would look a lot different. I don't know how it would look, but with Cat, if he could be on the floor with Cat, crazy.
Yeah, but he's got the grit that those guys lack. But not as the talent, but the grit in the overall game, which I think we're missing big time. The last piece, real comment on on the Giants. I think they did a great job on the draft. I think they've lost all their luster in the past. You know, it was a horrible year. The Saquon and the safety and the show was just a disaster for them.
Yep.
I think they've recaptured some luster. They picked 5, 6 good guys, and it's now up to them to do it. They're in a tough division, but I think they've restored some of our excitement, luster, and reputation that they lost, and looking forward to that season greatly.
Oh, absolutely. Great call, Howard. Thanks for holding and thanks for adding all that. Yeah, when you put Judge's numbers next to Soto's numbers, you shouldn't put them next to each other. That's why, like, he started off, and I'm like, oh, he's talking about Judge. Judge has 10 homers now. Soto's got 3. Mark Vientos has 4. Lindor, I think, has like 6. I think Alonso has 8, like, on his own team. When you look at Judge's, like, average, no, I'm not even going to go back and, like, give you what he was pointing out. Like, even like 12 runs batted in versus 32. Like, Judge has 20 more ribbies than Juan Soto. Like, there is no – it's funny because people were trying to do that preseason. Oh, who's the best player in New York, Judge or Soto? Soto has never been better than Judge, so we can not do that. We can leave that one out. And Isaiah Hartenstein, yeah, big difference without him. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. You know, you're not able to pay him. I think I was on ChatGPT. I was like, I kept being on air and not being able to articulate the Isaiah Hartenstein thing. And I'm like, yo, how do I, like, get this to where I can, say it? It's somewhere in my notes, so I got to find it. Either way, we'll take calls and I'll get but it's just the way that the team was built. And you weren't able to pay Isaiah Hartenstein what OKC could. So you don't have him, you go get Cat. It is what it is. And as far as the Giants draft, I talked about it a couple days ago, but like what impressed me the most about the Giants draft, round 1, day 1, you get Abdul Carter, you trade back in and get Jackson Dart. You made the fans happy. You got the draft the best available generational player, arguably the best player in the draft by some, in Abdul Carter. But then you also satisfied the fans that are like, we need a quarterback. We got to get a quarterback. When are we going to draft our quarterback of the future? You did that in the first day. But then the next, and this was the weekend, I wasn't even on. When they got Darius Alexander followed up by Cam Scatterbull, I'm like, hold on. I'm like those 2 picks, those guys are going to play this year and make an impact. Darius Alexander is a big dude, but he's athletic, and he's like that. Cam Scatterbull, do not sleep on what he can be in the NFL. I look at him as the closer that you need. You know, a couple years back when you had Saquon and he could get you a first down, move the sticks, he could kill the clock. He could wear defenses down late where, like, you're in those tight games and you're taking their heart because it's just like you're killing clock, you're moving the chains, you're getting first downs, time of possession. Like, Cam Scatterbull could be that. Nobody wants to tackle that guy in the fourth quarter after a long game. So those were the most impressive picks to me. Back-to-back picks. Darius Alexander from Toledo and then Cam Scatterbull. 888-808-1019. Back talking football a little bit. Steve out in Rockland on the Fan in New York. What's up, Steve?
Man, so this thing with Shedeur Sanders, first of all, I don't think it would be inappropriate for the team to say to Jeff Ulbrich, that $250,000 that we got taxed on, that's coming out of your pay, bro. That's number 1, okay? Number 2, I could never imagine at that age doing something so juvenile, so immature, and just so inappropriate.
Oh, we're losing you, Steve. No, yeah. But we're in a different time. I have a 2-year-old kid, and I'm like, where are we going to be in 10 years with the social media when my son wants a phone? When my son wants to be on whatever social media platform? It's all these kids care about now. Everything is clout-based. Everything is followers and likes, and like, their brains function through what is going to be seen or done on the internet. And it's crazy for me because, like, I use the internet strictly as a tool. I'm promoting myself all day on it. I'm researching all day on it. I'm building my name, my brand on it. I'm using it to work for me. Like, I've always used it that way. But it's a double-edged sword. It's tricky, you know. A lot of these kids are like Jax Ulbrich. His thought was, we're gonna prank Shedeur Sanders with this number. Where I'm gonna take this number. He's not even thinking about the ramifications, because if he was, he would have been like, "Yo, put the phone down. Don't film this." And then, it's one thing to film it. It's another thing to post it and go live with it. Insane. You just cost your pops $100K. You might have cost your pops a job, where if they fired him, because they could fire him before the season. If they fired your dad, he might not get picked up as a defensive coordinator in the NFL. There's only 32 of those jobs. Bro, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's insane. And I could tell Jeff Ulbrich looked stressed out. He was remorseful. He was emotional a bit. And I could tell it was a rough weekend in his household. He had to kick his son's ass. He had to, and I'm sure he loves his boy, but he is super disappointed, and he's down 6 figures off that. And he's walking into the building. He apologized to the owner, Arthur Blank. Apologized. He's like, wow, this came back to us. The Falcons weren't drafting Shedeur Sanders. They drafted Michael Penix Jr. in the first round last year. Like, like the fact, like these jokes write themselves. The Falcons weren't taking him, but they're one of the teams that might have had an interview with him. You know why? Because I'm sure there's a relationship with Dion. They drafted Dion. So they might have done a solid and interviewed Shedeur, talked to Shedeur, had a meeting with Shedeur. Where, like, if you do fall, not for nothing, we have Michael Penix Jr. and Kirk Cousins here, which now there's rumors Kirk Cousins might play for the Steelers. I don't know. But the Falcons were not drafting Shedeur Sanders. They should have never been involved in this Shedeur Sanders stuff. They should have never been involved in it. John is in Huntington. John, you're on the fan.
What's up, Archie? Real quick, didn't the kid say he was the Saints general manager, Mickey Loomis?
So it wasn't Ulbrich's son, but the kid with the Ole Miss shirt, posed as the Saints general manager, Mickey Loomis, which also is like,
He would have been what the Saints drafting when he was thinking that, if anything.
yeah, but how did the Falcons have this number?
What his number? Okay, I got what you're saying,
Yeah,
man.
I got that. And I feel bad because I really want the guy. I don't want the guy to get fired, but I want the guy to get fired to teach that kid a lesson, because I really don't think that was the least bit funny in any way, shape, or form.
I think he got the lesson learned at home. He's probably, I'm telling you, there's no way. How do you not put hands on the kid? And I'm not condoning that, but I'm like, $100,000 in this much embarrassment. You went into my iPad and you got this number. Like, you pulled us into. Are you insane? Are like, what? Do you not have a brain? Were you not thinking about what could happen from all of this?
Yeah, you're 21 years old. I don't understand. You know, you're not a baby.
You're not even a teenager. You're not a high school kid. You're a grown man. You're in college on your own. I don't know.
I wanted to make a point about Shedeur real quick. Yeah, I really think a lot of this stuff with him falling in the draft has so much to do with his father and them not wanting a coach in the background, basically just hovering over whoever's the head coach, and always the speculation of when's Dion coming, when's Dion going to come, when's Dion.
Of course, they were.
I think that was a huge part.
There was so much talk about the Giants. Let's use, for example, they're going to draft Shedeur, and they're going to have a terrible year. They're going to fire Brian Daboll, and here comes Deion Sanders. And every time that came up on my show, I'm like, do you know how ridiculous that sounds? He's out there at Colorado. He just signed a big deal, and he doesn't have enough coaching experience to coach in the NFL. But you're right about, like,
Deion's never been quiet in life either, too.
no, it brought so much potentially to an organization that was not worth what the player's talent level is. Thanks for the call, John. I talked about this at length Monday, but I'll do it quickly here. They misplayed their hand. And I said this Monday, if you were listening to the show Monday night, I said, if there's one take that you take from me talking about Shedeur Sanders, it's this. Dion and Shedeur completely misplayed their hand. They were sitting at the poker table thinking they were going to walk away with $45 million. They walked away with $5 million. Because everything that they did leading up, they played their hand as if this kid was Jaden Daniels coming into the league. He's not. They played it like he was Deion Sanders coming in the quarterback form. He's not that at all. All of the statements from, oh yeah, I might pull an Eli if a team is looking to draft him that I don't. No, you'll take any team to draft your son. The Browns, the Browns have been one of the worst teams in the NFL over the last decade. It's them and the Giants and the Jets and the Jaguars. You'll be elated when they call your phone to say, yeah, we put the card in for you. So just that, the pretending that you could even move like Archie and Eli moved many moves, you can't. You're not like that. Also, the way that he approached the combine, the way that he approached the East-West Shrine Bowl, he didn't go and compete. In football, they want to see you compete at everything. What I hear about Jackson Dart, he competes at everything. Everything he does. If it's Connect Four, he wants to win. Oh, Lane Kiffin started playing pickleball. He told Jackson Dart about it. He played against Jackson Dart. He beat him at first. Jackson Dart, in a couple of weeks, learned how to play pickleball and started whooping Lane Kiffin's ass. Like, you want a guy that's going to compete like that. He thought he was above competing. He goes to the East-West Shrine game because it's in Texas. It's in Dallas. And if you remember that game, right, there was something that he said in an interview. He wasn't playing, but he made some he made a remark like, yeah, I'm going to be playing here on Sunday soon anyway. Or like, I'm going to be playing like, I think he like was foreshadowing that he would be drafted by the Giants playing against the Dallas Cowboys in AT&T Stadium soon anyway. And it's like, bro, please. Oh my goodness. They misplayed their hand completely. So you didn't go compete at the Senior Bowl. You go to the East-West Shrine Bowl because it's convenient for you. You had a phone that you gave out to scouts and NFL personnel. Then you lost the phone. I watched his podcast where he said, yeah, I had my mom turn the house upside down looking for it. You're an adult. You're 23 years old. Are you serious about going into the NFL and being drafted by a team to play quarterback? You lost the phone? What, are you going to lose the playbook with all of our secrets in it? Misplayed their hand. I could continue on it. There's so many things. You go to the combine and you tell them, history repeats itself. If you don't want to change the culture, don't get me. When you're looking for a job, don't ever tell employers not to hire you. It's the dumbest thing you could do. Don't challenge them to not get you. Don't verbalize that. If you don't want to change the culture, don't get me. You don't got it like that, homeboy. You showed up at the combine. Jackson Dart was throwing. Will Howard was throwing. Tyler Shuck threw. You can't throw? We're not asking you to run the 40. We know you don't have a good 40 time. We're not asking you to jump. We know you don't have the vertical. We know you're not an athlete like that. You can't throw. You're above throwing. You're only going to throw at your combine. Okay. And last but not least, get an agent. You're not bigger than the system in place. His agent is his dad, Deion Sanders. Oh my goodness. I don't know how we didn't realize. I don't know how we none of us saw this until afterwards. The error in their ways. They completely misplayed their hand. Shiloh, his younger brother, hired Drew Rosenhaus after he went undrafted, and he got him signed immediately with the Buccaneers undrafted free agent. Get an agent. The agent would have probably told you, maybe you should throw, maybe you shouldn't say this, maybe you shouldn't do that. Like it's so bad how the league ended up humbling him, and it wasn't collusion. It was just the draft. The draft is a competition. A lot of these teams have quarterbacks. Look at how many teams in the NFL from last year's draft being a heavy quarterback draft. Broncos don't need to draft him. Falcons don't need to draft him. Patriots, Bears, Commanders, on top of the teams with the best quarterbacks in the league, like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals. Start doing the math. I did it already. There was a small pool of teams that potentially would take him. And he made it seem like, I don't need you, you need me. And I think that's Deion that was telling him about how Deion went into the draft, right? The old story about the Giants, they had like a little Wonderlic test for him. Oh, where y'all picking? 17? Huh, I won't be there. I'm going top 5. So it's a cautionary tale, but like only one that could learn from it was Dion and Shador. I don't think we'll ever see this again. The combination of, hey, you already have a Delta Airlines commercial, you already have a Gatorade commercial, you have $6 million that you made in NIL. Shador Sanders made more money in NIL his last year at Colorado, where they also retired his jersey for what reason? I don't know. He made more money at Colorado than he's going to make his rookie year in the NFL. That's nuts. We've never seen a combination of this. It was a perfect storm for him to be humbled. And now we'll see how he responds to it. Now we'll see if he can actually just put football first. Does he love football? Right? He misplayed his workouts with Cam Ward. Cam Ward is saying all the right things. Yo, let's make a song. I don't make songs. Let's make a rap song. Let's cut a video. No. When people look me up, I want it to say Cam Ward, American football. Oh, you don't have any other hobbies? No. What do you like to do for fun? Play football. I'm about to be the number 1 pick. I'm about to be the Titans franchise quarterback. What are you talking about? So it's so easy to see now. It's so clear to see now, but I don't know. I've talked about it and I've read so many things, and I'm not the only one saying this. Chris Carter had a lot to say about it. Cam Newton had a lot to say about it. The combination of them coming in with like, oh, history repeats itself. I changed the culture at Jackson State. Jackson State needed a culture change. They needed an injection of celebrity and status and clout at Jackson State. They were miserable. An HBCU that was just getting ran over. Their only claim to fame was Walter Payton went to school there. And how long ago was that? Colorado was 1-11. They were irrelevant for a decade and a half. They needed it so much so that they brought Dion in, not being able to pay him, not knowing how they were going to pay him. And Dion brought The Rock out there. He brought Lil Wayne out there. He brought all of these legends from Warren Sapp to Michael Irvin and all these rappers from Cameron, Mace, Boss Man D-Lo, BX The Plug to Boulder, Colorado. They needed it. The NFL didn't need it. The NFL didn't want it. These NFL franchises didn't want it or need it. The NFL wanted the marketing and promo of the draft, so much so the draft opens up. You see the marquee. It's Cam Ward. It's Travis Hunter. It's Ashton Jeanty. It's Shador Sanders. Well, those guys all went top 6. Shador Sanders went 5th round because, like, they smacked his hand. You overplayed your hand. They smacked your hand. And you came in and you weren't humble at all, and they humbled you. And it's a hell of a script in a movie. I was riveted all weekend. I still am like, I'll talk about this forever, how it all played out. 888-808-1019. Well, not forever because we got a break. And then when we come back, I'm going to take the rest of the calls that I have. This is Keith McPherson on The Fan. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, I'm back, chat. This is the last little run here. I got 30 tabs open, and I'm not paying attention to the chat at all. Appreciate y'all tuning in from Twitch, from Facebook, from YouTube, but mostly everybody in here is from Twitter. I'm blessed. I've been on Twitter for years. I've got 40,000 followers on Twitter. It might not mean something to anybody, but 40,000 people is like, I'm trying to think of what arena holds 40,000 around here. Like Barclays Center has like 19,000. So 2 Barclays Centers, two Madison Square Gardens. A lot of people. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Hard Knocks Cleveland would go crazy this summer. Yeah, it would. The NFL should make them do it. They love Shador so much, they should make them do it. It's really sad, the Jordan Travis story. Yeah. It's for his own good, though. I was at the Mets game tonight, pissed off with Mendoza's decisions. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Make sure you rewind in the free Odyssey app, probably around 3 hours ago. Yeah, we hit all that. Yep, they were determined to pull a Manning and blow up Shador going to Cleveland. And full circle, they were elated. The same team. Yep, just to get him off the board. Never. Yep. And times have changed a ton since Dion was in school. It's not similar to Bronny at all. Shador actually is talented and played in the Pac-12 in the same conference. Bronny couldn't really even get on the floor. LeBron had power in the situation. He was on the damn team. Got Bronny drafted. Dion had no power in the situation. So they're actually polar opposites. But why they get compared is because two great athletes and their sons coming into the league. $40K is like, yeah, 40. Wow. That's a good way to put it. A slow night at Yankee Stadium. A slow night at Yankee Stadium. Yeah. Oh man. All right, I'll be right back. Freezing in here. All right, I'm back. Oh! All right, yo. Yo, if you want to tell Jarvis, we're not going to talk about the Lakers getting eliminated here. I got 10 minutes. My eye is so itchy. Fuck. Sorry for cussing. Can't wait to go home and go to sleep. My eyes. Take some allergy medicine and go to bed. Oh. That country grammar. I like that EI beat. All right, anyway. Keith McPherson on the fan. Shedeur Sanders still in the media, still, popping up. Like Aaron Rodgers is a song that doesn't end. Now Shedeur Sanders is a song that's not going to end. I'm rooting for the kid. There's a ton of people rooting for the kid. He's got the number 1 selling jersey. I actually went and looked. I was about to punch that Travis Hunter jersey. If you've heard me talk, like I've got family in Jacksonville, and I'm sure I'll be going back down there while he's playing there. I'm like, yo, that Travis Hunter jersey is tough. Travis Hunter did have the number 1 selling jersey initially. Shedeur has beat him. So, yeah, that's just, I don't know. That's how things work now, right? He's got the followers. People are aware of him. There's a lot of people supporting him. All this did was help him. Now, did it hurt him to, his draft stock falling and him not making the money he would have made as a first round, second round, being a fifth round? Sure, but he's rich already. I guess in theory, and there was someone popped up an interview with him on Overtime from months ago where he said, I already bought everything I wanted. They're like, what big purchase are you going to make when you get drafted? He's like, I don't have one. Like, I'm already rich. I'm already famous. The dream is not to get to the NFL to make $45 million. The dream is to get to the NFL. So we'll see if he really loves football and if he really wants to lock in and put on in the work to be great. Limo driver Ed on the fan calling from Princeton. What's up, Ed?
Listen, there's no way 32 teams going to turn him away if they didn't want to make an example and laugh and stock about him and his father. He did. They did. I don't care what he says. He can put on that face and you got all the money. Listen, when you in the NFL and you get drafted and you get that maybe top 10, all right, you're feeling very good about yourself. For him not to even get picked, and to tell you the truth about the Cleveland Browns would have never got him, but his daddy got on the phone and called him because he's good friends with the general manager.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if his dad called him. Andrew Berry, they looked like they were forced to. I think the owner of the Browns stepped in and said, "Hey, didn't you guys interview him? Didn't you talk to him? End this."
Yeah, but he played with one of the owner or the general manager, somebody he played with. They said, now I'm gonna tell you that's fine, but I tell you one thing, they got a chance to embarrass them in front of millions of people, and they did. Now,
Yeah,
32 teams.
Yeah, but it's really. I'll do the math right now. Thanks for the call, Ed. It's really not 32 teams. You think the Chiefs are involved in that? You think the Kansas City Chiefs are involved in that with Patrick Mahomes and Bailey Zappi in their quarterback room? Andy Reid doesn't need Shedeur Sanders, but I don't think he was doing anything to like humble Shedeur Sanders. They just weren't in. It's the draft. Let's go back to what the draft is. The draft is your opportunity to add fresh, young talent to your team, and all you got to do is put the card in, and they're yours. So what you do is draft a need. If you don't need a quarterback, you're not looking at Shedeur Sanders. It's not 32 teams. But it seems that way because you watch it go round after round after round, and all of them are passing on him. Now, let me go back to my notes from Monday. I think I got it around like 7 or 8 teams. And you start with the teams that drafted quarterbacks, and you start eliminating teams that drafted quarterbacks that did not draft quarterbacks that could potentially start for them. At the bottom, Quinn Ewers in the 7th round. You can eliminate the Miami Dolphins. They signed Tua to long-term deal, big money, and like Quinn Ewers is not going to see the field. Even the 49ers, Curtis Rourke, I talked about from Indiana, they just drafted the kid. Like, he's going to be a practice guy. They're going to develop him. He's not seeing the field. Cam Miller out of North Dakota State. The Raiders drafted him. They don't need him. They have Aiden O'Connell, and they signed Geno Smith. Graham Mertz out of Florida. They have CJ Stroud. They have Davis Mills. They have 2 quarterbacks that have been drafted in the last 4 years, 5 years, and have played in the NFL. And CJ Stroud is the franchise quarterback. The Colts, they drafted Riley Leonard from Notre Dame. They currently have Anthony Richardson that they drafted 4th overall, and they went and added Daniel Jones. Now we're getting to a team that definitely passed on him. The Steelers drafted Will Howard in the 6th round. They absolutely passed on Shedeur Sanders. And it ain't a racist thing because they're owned by the Rooneys who created the Rooney Rule. It ain't a racist thing because Mike Tomlin is black. And I remember talking about Mike Tomlin, and what I did was cite Mike Tomlin's son played at the University of Maryland last year. Mike Tomlin didn't bring his son in. Mike Tomlin's son is going to play with Shedeur's brother, Deion's other son, Shiloh, in Tampa. Both of them probably get cut. The Eagles. Now, there was a rumor that the Eagles were thinking about drafting Shedeur because Howie Roseman and the Super Bowl champs, they're good at drafting, and they could take on the media storm of a Shedeur Sanders. So if there was a little bit of a rumbling, because who's the backup quarterback there now? They traded away Kenny Pickett. They were thinking about it as Shedeur fell because, wow, that's great value. Jalen Hurts is hurt every year. We're going to take Shedeur. So they passed on him, but like the Eagles are a team, maybe like I don't know. Dylan Gabriel being drafted right before Shedeur, pretty much like they double down. The Browns are a team. The Giants are definitely a team that passed on him. The Saints are a team that passed on him. The Titans are a team that passed on him, but they got Cam Ward. And the Seahawks are a team that passed on him. I think really there's like 6 teams. If you didn't draft a quarterback in this draft, I don't think you were interested in Shedeur Sanders. If you have a starting quarterback in your room that's a franchise quarterback and you have a back, like I just don't think so. I think there's really like 6 teams that as we went around out of 32, there was like 6 teams that potentially could have drafted Shedeur and passed. Ray is in Forge, New Jersey. You're on the fan, Ray.
Chris, so I agree with pretty much everything that you have brought up so far about the Shedeur Sanders catastrophe, but there has to be something to be said about the viewership on days 2 and 3 of the draft compared to last year. I mean, day 2, I think, had a 40% increase over last year. Day 3 had like a 43%. So I think just the fact of the story behind this kid definitely supported the NFL and the viewership, definitely. Now, that being said, I will say that the Sanders family undeniably is also responsible, for his drop, right? I mean, I think you guys all said it. You had a lot of callers come in and said overly confident, right? Lacking agent representation, didn't, throw at his tryout. And so that obviously didn't help him. But there's something to be said there. I mean, the kid obviously is rich and has everything he needs. I think everybody saw the videos with the $1 million chain, if you will, and everything else. But at the same time, the NFL did benefit by dragging this story on for 2 or 3 days in the draft because that viewership was through the roof.
Yeah, but I just don't think that there's any way that they could have premeditated that or got together for like collusion as a group thing. Thanks for the call, Ray, and pointing that out. I had that in my notes. The NFL draft, the NFL is king. The NFL draft had 13.6 million viewers for round 1. The NBA Finals had 12.2 million at its peak. And it's not just the TV. The amount of foot traffic and people that they physically had in Green Bay, it almost doubled what they expected. So the Shedeur Sanders was just like, this was just a part of the whole NFL script writing and how they're just connected with the universe and they just win, right? The 2025 NFL Draft round 2 and 3 viewership, it's the second most watched day 2 on record. 7.3 million average across ESPN2, NFL networks, and ABC, up more than 40% from last year. The NFL just won, but there is no way that Roger Goodell is calling owners saying, pass on this kid. Pass on him. Everyone's watching. Mel Kiper is losing his mind on the broadcast. That's enough to make you turn it off. It just was a perfect storm. Someone who was an amateur coming into the professional league that was such a popular amateur but did not have the professional level skills to be drafted. But all of these people watching, not all of us, like, I don't know, not all of them knew that. There were so many people talking about, oh, look at how they're doing Shedeur. No, look at how Shedeur did himself. I don't know. It's a hell of a story. And That's it. That's what I got to say about it. But ultimately, when they do his 30 for 30 or they look back on this, be humble. And if you're looking for a job ever, don't come in. Like, imagine me coming into WFA and being like, I should be on a morning show. I don't got a reel. I don't got a demo. You don't got to hear me. I should be on afternoon. C-Max coming up next. I'm out of here. Good night. That's it, folks. Oh, man. I got to go home and go to sleep. Appreciate you guys watching in the chat. Me and Steve Summers should have a duo stream. I'd love to do that with Steve. Steve doesn't do any internet or technology, though. Oh, man. You're not tired? Of course I am. Of course I am. I'm always. Yeah, another time. They're so different. They're so different. And their professional career is going to be a lot different too. All right, I'm out. I got to go home. I got to drive. Appreciate y'all. We'll do this again tomorrow, 7 p.m. though. 7 p.m.